what you were doing on Amazon. And I remember coming to your house, and you had boxes of books that you were getting ready to ship to Amazon. And at the time, I was doing a lot of things with Google AdWords, so I was making money there, so really wasn't paying attention to anything else. And I don't know if you want to share, but on a good month or your peak season, what's the average number of books that you would sell per month using just regular physical Amazon, the physical books? What is the average month or the peak months for you?
Yeah, absolutely. And Greg, your audio seems to be going in and out a little bit. And if mine does the same, please, guys, let me know. With the physical stuff that I was selling on Amazon, and that I still do sell at times, it was about 7,000 during peak season, holidays and certain times of the year. We could easily ship out 7,000, 6,000, 8,000 titles within a 30-day period.
Wow, and to me, that was amazing to hear 8,000 books in 1 month. And I know you've done some things. I've actually seen some of your titles on Target.com and some other major You started with Kindle, and by the way, you didn't start with Kindle. It's less than a year since you've been on Kindle. And again, you were telling me about, hey, you got to get on Kindle. This is what I'm doing. And I didn't pay attention until you told me about the checks that you were getting. And I remember one of them was about an $18,000 check, if I'm correct. Was that what the number was?
It was a total of about $18,000 between the U.S. and the U.K. sales. Yeah, and the checks they'll certainly grab your attention. I mean, those are the things that started me when I started noticing, that there's real money that can be made with this thing.
And that was a 30-day period. So, folks, when I heard that number, it didn't take long before I say, okay, let me test this. So there was two things that I told Ty. This was back in, I want to say December, early January. I said, I tell you what, teach me your system. If your system works, now granted, this is, my good buddy who I've known for years. But I said, if your system works, I'm going to do two things for you. Number one, I'm going to introduce you to my students, okay, because I know my students would need this. Number two, I'll buy you a Rolex once I hit the $10,000 a month mark. So, but folks, I could have told you about this 6 months ago, and I didn't. And the reason was I needed to test the system, even though this is my buddy, and I know he wouldn't steer me wrong, but I needed to test this out to see that there was money to be made there and that it was duplicatable before I told you guys about that. That's just my style. My students know that already. So let me tell you about what I've been able to do. So around January 21st or 2nd, I put up a title on Kindle. Now, folks, it took me about 20 minutes to do this. I kid you not. It was about 20 minutes. I didn't spend any more time than that. Between then and now, I already have over 400 plus sales. I want you to think about that for a second. 20 minutes worth of work and over 400 sales. But I will also say that the thing that you taught me, Ty, I did to the letter. I didn't deviate from anything that you taught me. So I did that, and I got absolute results. So now I'm at the stage where we're about to scale this. Okay, so right now we were in the testing phase, and now absolutely hooked. So now I'm getting ready to take what you taught me about scaling and take it to that next level. So 20 minutes worth of work got me over 400 sales in just 2-3 short months. So folks, when I tell you this was something that absolutely blew me away, and for 20 minutes worth of work that I can do that, it was fantastic. So I decided I'm not going to tell you about it. Let me introduce you to the guy who taught me. I mean, he taught me 100% of everything that I know when it comes to Kindle. So folks, without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to my good buddy, who's someone I think is one of the most brilliant marketers there are on the internet. And this guy is not an internet marketer like the other guys that you see. This is totally different. That's why he probably delivers too much information. That's a different story. But this is my buddy, Ty Cohen. So Ty, go ahead. Take it away.
Wow, Greg, thank you for the introduction. Brilliant marketer. I'm glad we have a recording of this webinar here so I can hold that over his head. Because Greg
tomorrow's going to change.
Yeah, he has a tendency to conveniently forget things, so we have this recorded. And again, if you guys can hear me, great. If you can't hear me, please let me know, because I want to make sure that everyone is able to hear everything here, so we're good to go. Now, before we start, I want you to grab a couple of things. Number one, I want you to grab some paper, whether that's a notebook or a couple of sheets of loose leaf paper or whatever it may be. And number two, I want you to grab something to write with. That could be a pencil, pen, crayon, marker, whatever it is, watercolor, paintbrush, because you definitely want to take some notes. All right, this is something that you can do starting tonight, starting immediately. The other thing that I want you to do, and Greg, this is more for you, but you guys can do this as well. Greg, I want you to grab a calculator, or if you have your iPod or your phone or something like that, where you can do some simple calculations on. Once we get into the webinar, that would be cool. And I also would like you to grab a timer or something that you can use to time some of the things that I'm going to show everyone on this webinar. All right. And the reason why I want you to grab that timer is because I want you guys to see how easy this really is. All right. So what we're going to talk about tonight is, as you know, how to publish content to Amazon's Kindle platform and how to make money doing so. All right. Not only just regular content, but I'm talking about things like ebooks. I'm talking about stuff like, reports, even articles, which I'm experimenting with now, and just, basically any and everything that comes to mind. So what we'll cover during this presentation is we'll talk about what is a Kindle and how it's changing the way we consume written material. All right, how we consume written material. I'll also show you some people and examples of individuals that are making money publishing content to Kindle, and we'll also show you how I'm doing the same. As a matter of fact, I'm going to log into one of my accounts and actually show you some of the real-life stats of income that I'm making and some of the sales that I'm making and things like that. Like, that's the part that really gets me excited. I really get easily turned on just by logging into my account, looking at the sales that have come in, especially overnight. And I'll also show you how to get started with creating your own Amazon Kindle account so that you can start publishing content to your account as well. And last but not least, we're going to set up an account so that you can see how it's done step by step. And we're also going to go in and upload an ebook so you can see how easily that's done and how you can start to make money off it. And we're going to do this all in about 60 to 90 minutes, all right? So let's get going. Now, one of the first things that I want to explain to you is the bonus material that I'm going to be covering during this webinar. And this is just as an extra gift because you guys are associated somehow in some form or fashion with Greg Caesar. And because of that, I want to over-deliver. All right? So I'm going to show you how to get started ASAP. And like I said at the beginning of this, how to get started immediately, like immediately after the webinar. I'm also going to show you a few ways to tell if your ideas or the topics that you're thinking about publishing to Amazon Kindle are like home run topics or if they're duds. Like, this is really cool stuff because it helps to give you a shortcut, right? I'm also going to give you a couple of secrets that I use to, really create like dynamic winning titles that sell. There's two things that are really crucial to having winning ebooks and winning Kindle titles. And the first thing is having a cool title, like a title that really pulls people in. So I'm going to show you how to go in and do that. And I'm actually going to share some of the things that I use. I call them title enhancers that have allowed me to double and triple my Kindle ebook sales. So you want to hold on for that as well. All right, so let's talk about who am I and why me. Well, I'm a husband of 7 years. I know I have this baby voice, sound like I'm about 17 instead of being a father of 7 years. But yes, I've been married for 7 years. Father of 4 lovely children, Maya, Devon, Summer, and Tyler, and I'm a business owner. This is actually my 4-year-old Summer. She just won We Miss Princess of North Carolina beauty pageant, first beauty pageant she's ever been in, and she won. All right, I think I've created a monster now because my wife has entered her and a couple more since then, but she's having a ball. She loves it. I've marketed different products online for about 10 years. I've been associated with Amazon, and by associated, I mean just selling books and material on Amazon for more for longer than I can remember, for about 10 years as well. I mean, I started with their resellers program, then I moved on to their Advantage program. I started making money with their associate program, and now I'm part of their Kindle publishing program as well. So Amazon is a great way to make money. All right, so I know Amazon like the back of my hand, and I'm going to share a lot of what I know with you guys tonight. So with that said, I want you to stay on until the very end, and at the very end of this webinar, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give one lucky person, or maybe even two, we might, give two of you guys a chance to win $100 worth of free content that you can use to upload to your Kindle account. So $100 worth of free content that you can use to upload to your Kindle account, and that will allow you to get started like ASAP. All right? So let's talk about what is a Kindle. Kindle is actually a device that was developed by Amazon.com that allows its users to be able to shop for, download, browse, and read ebooks, newspapers, magazines, blogs, reports, and other digital media. So it's a cool little machine. If you haven't seen it yet, it's probably about 7 inches high, maybe about 5-6 inches wide, and I mean it's just a brilliant way to go in and read your books, your ebooks, your magazines, subscriptions, and just about anything. And it allows you to go in and actually be able to have hundreds and thousands of books at your disposal in this one little unit. So it's a really hot piece of equipment. All right, so right now there's a digital shift that's taking place where people are buying, reading, and consuming more written material in a digital format than ever before. All right? People are buying, reading, and consuming digital written material than ever before. All right? And it's partly because of Amazon.com and their CEO, Jeff Bezos. All right? He made it his personal mission to put digital books together in an easy-to-use format that allows people to be able to read anytime they want, anywhere they want, at their convenience. Okay? And actually, because of that, recently, he released a press release that said, for every 100 hardcover books that Amazon.com sells, they actually sell 180 digital Kindle books.
Wow.
So that's amazing, isn't it, Greg?
That's absolutely amazing.
I mean, think about that. For every 100 hardcover books, they sell nearly double that amount in Kindle books. So that's part of the reason why I'm so excited. And when I saw that press release and I saw that one statement, that one sentence in there, it really caused this light to go off in my head where I said, this is something that will change the way people consume written material. And it has. All right. This shift that's taking place is really making some people extremely wealthy and at the least financially free with just minimal effort. And there's two examples. One is a young lady by the name of Amanda Hocking. All right, she's from the Midwest out there, and she's making millions of dollars publishing content to Kindle. Millions of dollars publishing content, and these are stories that she writes to Kindle. And I really envy her because I'm not a writer. All right, and this young lady is a writer, and she's just raking in the dough. So much that Forbes magazine recently published an article on her. I actually want to show you guys that really quickly. And when you get time, you can go in and take a look at this article that they've written on her. And it's called Who Wants to Be a Kindle Millionaire? So now, when you make Forbes.com, when you have Forbes knocking on your door and they're writing an article about you, you know that you've hit the big time. All right, so this just shows you how powerful this whole publishing and the content to Kindle thing can be. I mean, it's just huge right now. It's huge to the point where you've got publications like Time Magazine, Forbes, the New York Post, USA Today, and other publications writing articles about the way this is changing the way we read material. All right, so now another example of someone that's really making a ton of dough right now and that's really successful with Kindle and publishing content to Kindle is a British guy by the name of Stephen Lever. Right? He sells about 2,000 ebooks a day. That's not a misprint. A day. All right? I mean, some people would be happy to sell 2,000 a month. This guy is selling 2,000 a day.
That's incredible.
That's insane right there. I mean, and I love seeing stories like that. So you've got two people here that are making extreme amounts of money, and then you have other people that are making, hundreds of dollars a month. You've got people that are making thousands of dollars a month. You've got people that are making tens of thousands of dollars a month, and then you have people who are actually making hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars on a regular basis. All right, so I'm going to answer a question that's probably going through your head right now, and that is, why would Amazon allow us, people like you and I, to sell content for their Kindle device? All right, well, there's two answers to that, and they're both pretty straightforward and pretty simple. Number one, when Jeff Bezos set up Amazon, his mission was to create the planet's largest bookstore. All right? That was it. Simple goal. May have seemed difficult or outlandish to some, but that was his goal, to create the world's largest bookstore. And they realized that they can't do that on their own. They need people like you and I. All right? Especially now that they have other competitors on their heels, people like Apple and companies like, Barnes & Nobles with their Nook e-reader. They need us. So they need us to help contribute content and to help them to maintain that number one position. And the second reason why is it's all about the money. I mean, Amazon is in the business of making money, right? So every time they make money, we make money. And when I say we, I mean me and you. All right? So we make money. Anyone that's publishing the content, anytime we sell, Amazon makes money, and we make money. Now, remember earlier I said that Kindle is changing the way we consume books? Take a look at this. Here's an article that Newsweek magazine did on the Kindle and how it's changing the way literature, ebooks, books are read. All right? Another indication that this thing is big. When Newsweek puts you on the front cover, you know that something huge is taking place. And to me, what's even bigger than that is when you have someone like Oprah, lover or hater, who endorses the Kindle and says something like, it's absolutely my new favorite thing in the world. And she does that without being paid to say that. That in itself is powerful because she has such a huge following that people literally will go out and buy a Kindle and then start to buy material, content for that Kindle just off of her saying that because Oprah has one. Now, here's what makes me even more excited about this whole thing is that Amazon is in the business of making money. We've already established that, right? So now what they're doing is, besides selling the Kindle device on their own site, Amazon.com, they've also set up partnerships with Best Buy. So now you can go into Best Buy and purchase a Kindle. You can go into Target and purchase a Kindle. You can go into Staples and purchase a Kindle. And now just recently, over the last couple of days, Walmart has started selling the Kindle as well. Now, this is huge right here. Because if you've ever been into a Walmart, and I'm sure everyone that's on this webinar has been into a Walmart, you know that Walmart caters to the masses. Right? So when something hits a shelf at Walmart, Walmart has done the research to make sure that this is something that people are interested in. This is something that's not just a fad. This is something that's going to be around for the long term. And because of that, all right, the numbers that I'm going to show you right now, that I'm about to show you pretty soon, these are numbers that I've been able to do without having the Kindle available in Walmart. And now that Walmart is carrying the Kindle device, I expect my sales to increase by at least 20 to 30%. That's right, between 20 to 30%. So when you see the numbers that I'm going to show you, just imagine now those numbers being increased by 20 to 30% because Kindle is now sold at Walmart. And you're going to have millions of units that are being sold now because people can now go into their local Walmart, purchase a Kindle, and then in turn start to purchase content. All right? You're at ground level with this. Right now you're at ground level. All right? And because of that, I think that if there's one thing that you would take seriously, it would be publishing content to Kindle. Number one, because it's so easy. Number two, because you're at ground level. Number three, because it's Amazon.com is a multi-billion-dollar company. And if you're going to be associated with any company, wouldn't you want to be associated with a multi-billion-dollar company, not a $100,000 company or $1 million company, but a multi-billion-dollar company? So with that said, let's take a look at some of the money that I've been able to make over the last couple of months. And this is pretty much just testing different tactics, all right? Just testing different things and not really taking it too serious, because when I first started, I was a little bit skeptical. I didn't know how well I could do. I didn't know if it was something that was just a fad or if it would be here for the long haul or what. So needless to say, after a while, after I saw that it was something that was here to stay, I started to put more and more time and thought and energy into it. So first I got to go over the disclaimer. What I'm about to show you are some of the physical checks that I received as a result of publishing content for Kindle. And I say physical because I recently changed my account over to the direct deposit option, which I'll give you more information on in just a few more minutes. The earnings that I'm about to show you are not typical. All right? I don't guarantee, and I can't guarantee that you'll make the same amount. There are a lot of different factors that are involved, and everyone is different. I mean, you may make more than me, you may make less than me. There's a lot of people that are making a lot more than me. As I just showed you a few examples with Amanda Hocking and Stephen Lever, and there's just more and more people that are just jumping on board with this thing and really doing well with it. And, you know, it all depends on different factors and what you put into it. So let's take a look. Now, this is one of the first physical checks that I got here, and it's in the amount of $2,297.30, right? So this is not bad. And this is when I really started to get excited about it, to be honest with you. When I said, okay, $2,000 in a month for something that I did not put a lot of time into it, and for something that could potentially generate revenue for me on a recurring basis, that's not bad, all right? And at that point, to be honest with you, I thought that it would be about $2,000 a month. I thought that that's what I would see every 30 days, all right? And then the next month, it increased. So it went from $2,200 to $2,873. Now, needless to say, Greg, at this point, I got a little bit more serious, and I said, you know what? What if I started testing certain elements? What if I started testing things like titles and prices and just playing with the descriptions that I use and just testing different topics to see which ones sell better? This is when I started to get a little bit more serious. So, bam, the next month, $4,462.53. This is when it's starting to really get interesting now. Because as you see, the amounts are growing every single month. Month by month, they're growing. So it went from $2,200 to $2,800 to $4,600. And then after that, I doubled my sales almost to $8,403. So did you guys see that? I'm going to go back because I really want you to see that here. And what happened was, I started at $2,200, and this is with the physical checks. And actually, my checks escalated a little bit more. There's lower checks that I had, but at this point is when I started to actually make copies of them. Greg said, man, you should start making copies of this stuff because, you know, you want some proof. So I started making copies of them. So $2,297, and then the next month I went up to $2,873. So that's like a $500 increase right there. Then after that, I almost doubled because I started testing different elements. Like I said, I started testing different things to include in my titles, different elements to include in my descriptions, different cover designs and things like that. Then after that, from 4,000, I went up to 8,000. I doubled it again because of some of the stuff that I was testing actually worked. So I started to continue to do those things. All right. So needless to say, by this point, I'm fully focused. All right, I'm really into it because I realize that this is a diamond mine. What you're seeing right here is a digital diamond mine. All right, and the sooner you recognize it as such, the better your chances of making a lot of money. And that actually reminds me of a story that I want to share with you guys. It's a story about a farmer who lived in Africa and through a visitor became really, really excited about looking for diamonds. At this time, diamonds were already discovered in abundance on the African continent. And this farmer got so excited about the idea of millions of dollars worth of diamonds that he actually sold his farm to head out to the diamond line. He wandered all over the continent as the years slipped by, constantly searching for diamonds and wealth, and he never found either one. He never found either one. And he eventually ended up going broke committed suicide by throwing himself into a nearby river and drowning. He gave up, as so many people do in life. When it got hard, he gave up. Meanwhile, the new farmer, who he sold his farm to, was walking around the farm one day and ended up picking up an unusual-looking rock about the size of a country egg. And if you guys have ever seen a country egg, you know that they're slightly larger than your traditional egg that you see in your grocery store. And he took this weird-shaped rock and he put it on his mantle as a sort of a curiosity and a conversation piece. Then shortly after, a visitor stopped by, and after spotting the rock, practically went into terminal convulsions. He told the new owner of the farm that the funny-looking rock on his mantle was one of the biggest diamonds that he ever saw and that had ever been discovered. The new owner of the farm said, "Heck, the whole farm is covered with them." And sure enough, it was. The farm turned out to be the Kimberley Diamond Mine, the richest diamond mine ever known. The richest diamond mine ever known. The original farmer, the guy who committed suicide, was literally standing on acres and acres of diamonds until he sold his farm and never knew what was at his disposal. Now, I share this story with you to remind you that very seldom do great opportunities present themselves, and when you see them, you need to do everything in your power to take advantage of them. Everything. Because you deserve to live the best life possible. You deserve it. You're just as special as the next person. And once you realize that, your life will change dramatically. Right? Now, the beautiful thing about making money on Amazon, as I've just shown you, is that this thing grows. It's growing every single month. Every single month with very little, if any, additional work on your part. As a matter of fact, before the webinar, Greg and I were just talking. I said, "Greg, I'm a little bit embarrassed to say, man, that I haven't even, for the last couple of weeks, I haven't worked on my account because I've just been, we've been going to the beach and I've been working on some of my other businesses and, we've been redecorating the house and things like that. And I'm still on track this month to make more money than I've ever made in the last couple of months with my Kindle account, even though I haven't added any new books or titles to it in over 6 weeks. So the work that I've done to get those checks that I just showed you, that work was done one time. Set it and forget it. And I continue to get paid month after month, month after month. And if I want to make more money, I go in, do some research, add a few more titles, and that's that. It's that easy, as I'll show you in just a couple more minutes. All right, now, you guys may... Go ahead.
Here's a question for you. Because that's a very valid point in that, a couple weeks, you haven't added a new title or done anything new in your account, yet you have found from this month to the previous month, you've actually made more money. Why is that? Why do you think that's happening?
You know what? Good question. And this is the other beautiful thing I like about Amazon, right? Selling to Kindle is because even though I haven't added new titles, I'm still making more money simply because more people are buying Kindles. So now let's say if last month you had 100 people, for sake of easy math, we'll say 100 people who owned Kindles last month. And then this month you had another 100 people who went in and bought Kindles, or who were giving Kindles for, Mother's Day or for a birthday, as a birthday gift or whatever reason. You now have 100 more people who now have Kindles, 100 more people who are now going on their Kindle looking for content to purchase. The next month, we'll have even more people. The next month, even more people, especially now that Walmart's selling it, and now that all of these other retailers are selling it. So even if I don't go in and ever add another title, my sales will still grow month by month by month, because Amazon is doing everything in their power to get as many Kindles as possible into as many hands as possible. That's one of the things that I really love about this. And I'm glad you brought that up, Greg, because that's a very, very important piece of the puzzle here.
And is that why there was such a big spike? One of the reasons why you had a big spike in January, is it because people getting the Kindles for Christmas?
Absolutely, dude. I mean, two reasons. Number one, because of the testing and tracking that I've done. And the other reason is because, like you said, people were getting Kindles as Christmas gifts. They were getting them as New Year's gifts and things like that. And you'll see that to continue throughout the year as holidays like Mother's Day and Father's Day, and even though Father's Day is not really celebrated much, right? Hint, hint. But Mother's Day and Father's Day are come around, and people want to give gifts. And the cool thing about it is, take note, the next time you see a holiday, even holidays like Valentine's Day, Amazon pushes the Kindle as the perfect gift. They push the Kindle. Go ahead.
We lost you for about 5 seconds.
Okay. Now, even during holidays like Valentine's Day, Amazon will push the Kindle as being the perfect gift to give. So do you see that? Now, Amazon is doing everything in their power to sell as many Kindles. And that helps us as content providers, because the more people that have Kindles, the more people that are available to go in and purchase our content. Are you hearing me okay, Greg?
Yep, I am now. For half a second you were gone, but you're back.
Okay, great, great. Now, another thing I want to point out is that the gurus, the big names, the big guys in internet marketing are not talking about Kindle. And I've helped some of the biggest gurus in internet marketing with their Amazon accounts, Greg, as you know. And one of the reasons why they're not talking about Kindle is because this is a system that works, and it works extremely well. And oftentimes when something works extremely well, people don't want to share it with too many people. As a matter of fact, I was really hesitant about sharing it, and I think you did a really good job about talking me into putting together this webinar and sharing it with people. But if you notice, for a while, how long did it take you to actually get me to put this thing together and start to share some of this stuff with your list?
Well, since you've been telling me, okay, guys, this is a true story. What he was doing with the regular physical Amazon books, the first time I asked Hi to talk about that was in 2007. And his answer was, I don't want to share it. And so I didn't blame him. So I've been working on him to talk about Amazon for the last 4.5 years. And I'm not kidding you. This actually is a true story. And so when he started doing some things on Kindle last, I think, May or June when you started, and you were telling me that you were starting to see some traction. And so come January, when I started having success, so it was probably 4 months until I decided to test it. So 4 months I've been begging you. Then I did it and said, okay, let me prove it, and then I'll introduce you to some folks. So, folks, it's been about 4.5 years since the first time I've asked, and I asked you to talk about it. It wasn't the other way around. So it's been a while.
Right, absolutely. Because my thought was always, why put a webinar together, go through the time of putting a webinar together when I can use that time to, work on what's working. And in fact, this will actually be the last time that I share this with anyone outside of my crew. And by crew, I mean people like Greg and my profit buddies, my PayPals, and people like that. All right, so let's continue with the rest of this webinar. And you guys actually have some great questions I see that are being added to the questions box, so that's cool. Keep them coming, and I'll cover as many as possible at the end of the webinar. So it's a set it and forget it system. Recurring income, as you've seen. Once you set up your titles, that's all you do. All right? No worrying about getting traffic to them. As a matter of fact, Amazon does this for you. How many times have you ever visited Amazon.com with the intention of purchasing something? Like, Amazon is one of the only sites, one of the few sites besides like eBay, where people will actually visit the site with the intention of making a purchase, right? Everyone that visits Amazon is a customer. They've got their credit card, their debit card in hand already, and they're already conditioned. They're already predispositioned to buy. They're already ready to make that purchase, so there's really not much convincing. You just have to make sure that you have the right product in front of that customer at the right time, and I'm going to show you how to make sure that you have the right product in just a bit. There's no pay-per-click cost. There's no additional work after you get your title up there. There's no additional marketing. Like, I think it's important to note that I don't do any additional marketing for any of my titles. Maybe I should, because maybe the money that I'm making now, I could double that, but I haven't done any additional marketing. All right, so it's just put the titles up there, and that's pretty much it. there's none of what I like to call a curve. So that means no dealing with Google and all of your silliness. There's no pay-per-click. There's no chasing prospects and customers. No merchant accounts to deal with and all of your hoops to jump through. There's no order taking, no customer service issues, no shipping of orders, no article marketing. There's no huge investments, as you'll see in a bit. There's no huge time commitments. I mean, this thing is perfect, actually. So let's talk about how do you do it. How do you create your very own Amazon Kindle account that you can start selling from? All right, I'm going to show you how to publish your own ebooks, your reports, and other content that go along with it. I'm going to show you which markets sell the best. I'm going to show you how to pick winning titles for your ebooks. I'm even going to show you how to get access to high-quality ebooks and written material that no one else has that you can resell on Amazon and keep 100% of the profits. And that's the method that I've used for most of my titles. All right, but first, the legal agreement. What I'm about to share with you is an extremely easy way to make money. It's simple, and it works point blank. And because of that, you must agree that by continuing to listen to and or watch this presentation beyond this point that you legally agree that the information that I give you here will only be used for your personal use to make money with, and that you will not share, sell, or reteach any of the information that I'm about to share with you with anyone unless I give you written permission to do so. You legally agree not to compete with me and or any company that I am affiliated with in any shape, form, or fashion, online or offline, as it relates to teaching others how to market on Amazon.com. When you registered for this webinar, we not only captured your email address, but also your name and IP address, and by continuing to listen to and or watch this presentation beyond the next 15 seconds, you acknowledge that you fully agree to the terms that I have just given you. And with that said, I want to just note that you deserve a lot more out of life. Most people think of themselves as ordinary, and as a result, they accept ordinary incomes and outcomes in life. From here on, I want you to realize that you deserve more out of life, a lot more. All right? There's winners and there's losers. You've got some people who are going to see the opportunity with this thing, with Amazon, with Kindle, with everything that's taking place, with the shift that's taking place, and they're going to say, that's for me. I see how it works. Where do I get started? And then you have some people that are going to be skeptical or that are going to procrastinate. You know, hey, I procrastinated for a while with this thing, and it cost me. It cost me a lot of money that I actually lost in sales. And sometimes Greg will do the calculations, and he's like, man, imagine if you started X months before you actually started. Here's how much money you could have banked already. No one should get left behind with this system because it's extremely easy. All right, so how easy is it? It's so easy that my 12-year-old, she just turned 13 the other day, actually, now handles content for my for a portion of my account, and that portion that she handles brings in about $2,000. It's actually up to about $2,200 a month. It literally takes about. Greg says it took him about 20 minutes to add an ebook to his account. That was when he first did it, but it literally takes about 5 to 10 minutes to add an ebook to your account. Literally takes you about 5 to 10 minutes. And Greg, this is where that timer comes into play. Do you have a timer or a way to time something really quick? Because I want to go in, log into an account, and then show them how easily and how quickly you can upload content to your account and get going with making sales.
Okay, I'm going to start the timer. Tell me whenever you're ready.
Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to go in and I'm going to show you guys how to create your account. Okay, so you would go to www.kdp.amazon.com and let me get out of this.
Should I start the timer?
Not yet. Wait until I'm on site. This guy likes to cheat some, huh? Greg the Cheater Caesar. Okay. I'm going to sign out of mine here. And before I go in and show you how to upload content, I want to show you how to create your own account. So now, you can go in and start the timer now. So the first thing you do is you're going to go to kdp.amazon, so Kindle Direct Publishing.amazon.com. If you don't have an account, you go here, you can click Don't Have an Amazon Account. Okay, and then you go in, you enter your email address, all right? So I'm going to use, I need an account at hotmail.com. Then you enter a password. Oh, I'm sorry. You select I am a new customer. Then hit sign in using our secure server. Now it's going to take me a little bit longer because I'm doing this for the first time for you guys, showing you actually how to go in and set up an account. But once you get used to doing it, it becomes a breeze. It becomes really easy. All right, so now it's loading up. You're going to add your name. You go in and retype your email address again. And then you will enter your password. And I'm going to make this really simple. Then you hit create account. Oh, so I need to have at least 6 characters there. Alright, so now Amazon is going in, it's going through the process of creating the account. As you can see, it's processing down here. And we should be in a few seconds. There we go. Alright, so your account is basically created. Next thing you would do is you go up here where it will have your name. And because I entered the name as I need an account, it says I need an account's account. So if your name is Jane Smith, it will say Jane Smith's account. You then want to agree to your terms of service. You have the U.S. terms of service, which we're going to agree to. Then after that, you should have the U.K. terms of service, which you want to agree to as well. And then you should have the German terms of service, which you want to agree to as well. Oh, actually, they have them all on both on the same page. And this allows you to sell your content on both, or actually, I should say, all 3 sites: Amazon's U.S. Site, Amazon's UK site, and Amazon's German site as well. Which is cool because, I mean, it's more revenue, right? So then the next thing you want to do is you go into where it says your name up here, and then it'll say your name's account. Click onto that, and then you can go in and you can add things like your mailing address, your banking information if you want to receive electronic deposits. I do recommend that you receive electronic deposits initially because you receive your payments a lot faster. Amazon pays every the first week of every month, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about that in a few minutes. All right, so here's what you're going to do. You would enter your name here, full name. So let's say if I just put my name here. Then we'll put the address. And then we'll put a zip here. Put your phone number here. And then, now, this part here will strictly depend on the way you want to set up your tax information. For most of you, you would use the individual selection, okay? And then that would be your name that you would put up here. If you have a business name that you want to use, you could put, corporation if you have an S Corp or a C Corp or some type of an LLC. Then you would put your business name and then your tax identification number if you're using your business's name, or your social security number if you're going as an individual, okay? So just click on what's this and what's this, and you'll get more information there. For royalty payments, this allows you to determine how you want your royalty payments to be distributed. So you can have them distributed by check, all right? Pay my royalties by check in U.S. funds. And this is for sales on the U.S. version of your Amazon site, Or you can have electronic funds transfers made, which I recommend, all right? It just allows you to get your payments a lot quicker. And you always want to select U.S. funds, okay? Then you'll do the same thing for the U.K. Site sales as well as the sales that come in from the German version of your site, all right? So check or electronic funds, and then select U.S. as well, all right, because you want your funds deposited in a U.S. currency format, all right? Obviously, if you're in the U.K. or another country where it's more convenient for you to have your funds deposited in a pounds currency format, then you would select that, okay? But if you're in the U.S., go with that. Same thing here, all right? So EFT or check. And if you want to select check, just so that you can make copies of them, your first couple of checks like I did, and save them as a momentum or some type of mark of your accomplishment, then that's fine. You can do that. And then once you enter all of this information, you're going to go in and save it. It may not allow me to save it because I didn't enter all of the info yet. See, it says fix some errors. But that's pretty much it. Once you do that, you're all set. Now you're ready to go in and start uploading. So, Greg, how long did that take?
That was a total of 6 minutes and 27 seconds.
Okay, so 6 minutes, and that's with me going through each of the processes and explaining each field to you guys, as well as with the web browser being a little bit slower because I'm running the GoToWebinar software right now as well. I mean, it takes about 5 minutes to set up your account. 5 minutes to set up your account. I told you that this stuff is fairly straightforward, really easy. And what I want to do now is, if you guys are ready, Greg, if you're ready, I want to show everyone on the webinar how to go in and upload their first ebook once you're ready to do that. So you guys ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right. So first thing you would do, and it's not going to allow me to fully publish the ebook because I didn't enter all my banking info and all of this other stuff in my tax reporting name, and maybe I might do that. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Let's see. It's not going to let me. But once you enter all of this information, it will allow you to go in and fully publish your book. But I'll show you how to get started. You click on the bookshelf tab. And then I apologize because it is loading up very slowly because we do have the GoToWebinar software running at the same time. Then you're going to click on Add a New Title. Add a New Title. And then once you do that, you're going to see the section that comes up. Now, there's a few areas here that are really crucial, and I want you guys, if you're not writing this stuff down by now, I want you to write down these pieces of the puzzle because these are really, really important pieces or things that you want to make sure that you include or that you pay special attention to when you upload your content to your Kindle account. All right. So first thing is title. You want to have a really cool title that catches people's attention, catches people's eyes. All right. So my title is going to be Fit at 40. Don't go stealing my title now.
Sorry, I just wrote it down.
That was a joke there. That was directed. Okay, now then your description. You want to go in. All right, and obviously I'm going to be really brief with this because I want to show you guys as much as possible within a limited amount of time. Fit at 40. How to lose
Steve says fit at 54.
Weight. And keep it off. All right, so but you want to be really descriptive with your description. All right, you get about 4,000 characters, so use as many of those as you can. And then here's the cool part, where it says contributors here. Here's where you will add the author name here. Now, I don't use my name in the section here. All right, I always use a pen name. Maybe I shouldn't use Jim Jones. That's not a good one. Jim James. All right. And then you'll select author. And then you hit save. Now, the reason why I use a pen name is because I just don't want people copying my titles. I strongly don't believe in allowing people to copy your titles. You should never let people know what you're putting up. And the reason why is because when you get one of these things that really takes off, trust me, the snakes will come out of the grass and people will start to copy your stuff. Right? It's much easier for people to copy than to come up with their own stuff, unfortunately. Greg, you had a question?
Yeah, do you remember what I said to you when you gave me the video that talked about how to pick the name?
No, I forget.
I said to you, what on earth would have made you thought about that? And it was something that you said you got to do with the names. And I remember telling you, this is just diabolical. What would make you even think about that? But it was just pure genius, and it made total sense. Just about what you talked about in picking the name. So, but yeah, it's the thing that you talked about. I thought it was insane, it was creative and just something I would have never, ever, ever in a million years would have thought about doing. So I thought it was real creative.
Absolutely, thank you. And that's a part of this thing, man. Part of it is being creative and not being afraid to push the boundaries, and also doing things that are going to grab people's attention, right? So, you know, and I talk about that in the course as well, on how to create author names and how to really, really, you know, do things that stand out, right, with integrity. All right, so the next thing is select the language. And you want to select English, obviously, because most of your books are going to be in English, right? Publication date. Don't put in the publication date, because the reason why is you want your publication date to be the freshest that it can possibly be. And by that I mean, when you first publish a book to Amazon, there's about a 48-hour publication process, approval process. So if you put the date as May 1st, when your book finally gets approved, it will show the publication date as being May 1st. But if you don't include a publication date, and when it finally gets approved, it will show that publication date as being the date that it was approved. Does that make sense? So if your publication date and your approval date was May 3rd, then that is what Amazon will show as your publication date, and you want the freshest publication date possible. Publisher. You don't have to enter a publisher name here. You can. It's strictly optional. ISBN number. You don't. I don't ever use ISBN numbers for my material because I just don't like to incur any additional costs. You have to go out and purchase ISBN numbers, and that's totally optional with the digital stuff right now. Verifying your publishing rights. All right. You always want to select this is not a public domain work, and I highly don't recommend that you use public domain products and ebooks when you're uploading content to Kindle. All right? Use PLR stuff, use stuff that you've written on your own, use ghostwritten stuff, and I'll talk about more of those three options in just a few minutes. Now, categories. Remember when I said that there's a few things that are extremely important when it comes to publishing? Categories is one of those things. You want to make sure that the categories you choose are highly relevant to your book. Don't just go after the broad categories. Go after the categories that are highly relevant. All right? So, for example, if you're this, for example, the category that we see now says biography and autobiographies. All right? Now, if I'm writing a biography, or if I'm uploading a biography on someone like Bill Gates, the most relevant subcategory would be business. It wouldn't be general, although that might be the largest category. All right, business, because Bill Gates is a business individual. And if they had computer business, or something that was more relevant to the business of computers, then that's the one you would select. All right, does that make sense there? If I was writing a biography and I was uploading it, and it dealt with someone like Jesse James, it was a biography or autobiography of Jesse James, then I would choose criminals and outlaws, right? I wouldn't choose general, or I wouldn't choose composers and musicians. So the categories and subcategories that you choose are very, very important, and you want to take the time to really make sure that you go in and select the proper ones, okay? After you select the right ones, you're going to hit save. And I'm just choosing any right now just because we're trying to save time. Next thing is keywords. And again, just like with categories, all right, here's another important area that you want to pay attention to. Your keywords, don't just go after the most general, most popular keywords. You want to go after really laser-focused, relevant keywords, all right? So keywords that your customer, your prospect, the person that would have an interest in your title would be most likely to enter when they're doing a search on Amazon, right? So, for example, this ebook is Fit by 40, so it would be something like weight loss or fitness, all right? Or fitness after 40 or something like that, okay? So you really want to pay a lot of attention to keywords. And if you guys are familiar with Greg, you know Greg does a lot with keywords, and he's like the master of choosing, you know, the right keywords and researching proper keywords. And I actually talk about how to come up with the right keywords as well in a course. So now, uploading your book cover. Here's how you go in and upload your cover once you have your cover. This is really simple, and your covers are another really important, crucial piece of this puzzle, because you want to have covers that stand out, covers that look really good, covers that make people say, wow, that looks pretty interesting. I wonder what that's about. Because if you think about it, your covers and your title are your first lines of defense, right? First things that people are going to pay attention to are, number one, your title, number two, your cover. So you really want to make sure that those are the things that you really give a lot of attention to. So let me go over here, and I'm going to grab my cover, and you'll see the cover that I will actually use for this for here. Let's see. Remember, guys, if you guys have questions about any of this stuff, make sure you type it into the questions box, because I want to make sure that everything is totally clear to you guys, especially at the pace that...
answering a lot of questions, too, by the way.
Okay, cool. All right, so we've got the cover in there. Then you go in, you click Upload Image. Now, this is pretty simple, pretty straightforward so far, right, guys? Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
So, Greg, what are some of the responses that we're getting? So, upload it successfully. Now, do you guys think that this is pretty straightforward? Now, there's the cover. You'll see your cover there. We've got an attractive young lady on the cover. We have the title there. We have the subtitle in there as well. And then the next thing you would do is go and then you upload your book file. Now, I like to upload my book files in a Word doc format because it just makes it really easy. I'm not one who likes to overcomplicate things. I like to do things the right way. I like to do things the easy way. I don't believe in, overcomplicating things. All right? You want to select. Now, this allows you to have your book shared by other Kindle owners. So if someone owns a Kindle, this option allows you to allow that Kindle owner to share a book that they purchased with another Kindle owner for a certain amount of time, for a few days or whatever. You can either enable that or you don't have to enable it. It depends on your choice. It's strictly your choice. I usually do not enable digital rights management. So now I'm going to browse for the book. And again, it's in the Microsoft Word format. And there we go. Now, Amazon does allow you to upload your books in an HTML format, but like I said, the Microsoft Word format is just so much easier. So then we'll go in and hit Upload Book. And this usually takes a while. It can take about 2-3 minutes sometimes. So let's take into longer. I past that. So you'll see where it starts to say converting book file to Kindle format. And while that's waiting, it says conversion timed out. And it may be because on this particular machine I don't have Microsoft Word. I'm using I have it in a DOX format. That's what it is. I have the most recent version of Microsoft Word, and it should be in a just a regular plain DOC Microsoft Word file format, not DOCX. So let's see what happens here. And while that's converting, I'm going to go in and take a look at some of the questions that you guys have up here. Susan says, Susan, can you upload a PDF? Actually, right now, like I said, the Microsoft Word format is the easiest to upload. And this is in a doc format. I can go in and change it if you guys want me to, but it's simply making sure that you have the DOCX extension, which is just your basic Microsoft Word file extension. After you do that, you'll upload the book, and that's that. All right? So what I'm going to do is let me see if I can browse for a DOC file, Microsoft file. And James says, are these other people's books, reports, and reviews to sell? That's a great question, James, and I'll cover that in just a minute here. Joan says, what about pictures? You know, you can include pictures in your material, Joan, but you just want to make sure that, you know, they're not too graphics heavy, because Kindle is still, you got to remember, it's still in the infancy, and you know, if you've got basic pictures, like charts and graphs are great. That type of stuff is good. You don't want to go crazy with pictures right now, at least, because, you know, you just want to keep it pretty basic. All right. How long are ebooks? Great question. Celeon, I think I'm pretty sure I probably butchered your name. But you know what? I have some that are as short as 15 pages. I have some that are as long as 50 pages. All right. You got to remember that this is the age of information. People want information that's no fluff, that's straight to the point, that gets them right to the answer. And with that, you don't have to add a lot of fluff to your content. You just got to give them the info that they want. And people are just, you know, really after short, sweet solutions. Okay? So keep that in mind.
Here's a question I think is a great one, and I actually answered it, but someone said, so we have to be authors to do this. And I think that's a great question to ask, and the answer is even better. Do you want to answer that?
Yeah, absolutely. You absolutely don't have to be an author. I can't stand writing. You know, to be honest with you. And Greg, you know this. Sometimes a little embarrassed to admit it, but I failed English 101 twice. Twice in college. So that answers your question right there. You don't have to be an author at all. And I'm going to show you how to get around that in just a minute. Remember I said I don't believe in overcomplicating things. So now, I've been able to successfully upload. So now I'm going to hit save and continue. All right? And I really wanted you guys to see that upload process right there, because the next page, there's 2 pages to this. The next page will allow you, I know a few people are talking about prices, things like that, but the next page will allow you to go and set your price, and in turn also allow you to see what royalty you'll get off of your prices that you set. This is my favorite part of this whole uploading process and submitting content to Kindle, because you know, it allows you to set your pricing and see how much money you're going to make off of this. All right. So now, number 1, you see where it says, let me just move this thing out of the way. It says verify your publishing territories. All right, verify your publishing territories. Worldwide rights, all territories, or individual territories. Now, obviously, you want to make as much money as possible, so you want to have it selected at worldwide rights. And the funny thing about this is Amazon wants you to make as much money as possible as well. That's why worldwide rights is already pre-selected. Do you see that? Like, these guys are pretty coy right there, right? So they already select that for you because they want you to make as many sales as possible, because like I said at the beginning, the more money you make, the more money Amazon makes. Now, the next step is choosing your royalty. Select the royalty option for your book. Now, I usually like to go with the 70% royalty option because I like to make more money. All right? Now, in order to qualify for the 70% royalty option, your content must be priced between $2.99 and $9.99. Do you see that? Between $2.99 and $9.99. If it's less than $2.99 or more than $9.99, then you can only go for the 35% royalty option. All right? Does that make sense? And if you guys have any questions on that, let me know. All right, now, go ahead, Greg. So I'm going to set this at $7.99. Okay, $7.99. And now, here's the cool thing. Your books are also going to be sold on the UK version of Amazon as well as the German version of Amazon as well. So you automatically can set your account up so that whatever price you choose here for your US sales can also be used for your UK and your German sales. All right, so you see that? And you'll get the 70% royalty out. And you guys are getting in on this at the right time, because before, Amazon only gave 35% royalties for UK sales. And they just opened up the 70% option for UK sales, and they just made the German site sales available. I mean, when I say just, I mean within last couple of weeks. And Greg, I had sent you an email on that. I was so excited about, you know, having another revenue stream available, because this gives you 3 revenue streams. Not only are you selling on the Amazon US site, but your books are also sold on the UK site and the German site. So that's pretty cool right there. And then you click Save and Publish. Now, it's not going to allow me to publish because I didn't complete all of my information. But once you click Save and Publish, you'll see where you'll get a little pop-up that says your book is being published. And after that, you'll go back to your bookshelf, and you'll see where it's on your bookshelf. And it actually says, I think it says publishing or in review, I think it says. All right? And it takes about 48 hours for your book to get approved. In most cases, like 99% of all books are approved. It's in draft status right now because I didn't hit submit. But that's that. I mean, this process is really straightforward. Uploading your content to Amazon, making sales is something that Amazon takes care of, so you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about accepting orders, taking the orders, and things like that. And each title that you add to your account actually becomes another revenue stream. Right? It becomes another way of making money. So think about that. Think about that for a minute and let that sink in. Every single title that you add to your account becomes another revenue stream that can make you a couple of dollars up to thousands of dollars a month. All right? As you'll soon see when I log into my account and show you the sales that I'm making. Other than, like I mentioned earlier, I haven't really added any new content to my account for a couple of weeks because I've just been working on other things. And other to check sales and my royalty reports, I mean, I don't go into my account much because it's set it and forget it. I've actually been in my account less than 5 hours, all right, and I'm still making money, and I will continue to make money. I continue to make money, all right? It's a recurring income stream month after month after month after month. And that's one of the things that I really love about this. Okay. Now, you get 70% of the price that you set in your account. So if your ebook is priced at $9.99, you'll get $7. Amazon keeps $3, so simple math, right? As I mentioned before, Amazon pays every 30 days around the first week of the month. So you'll see your check. If you selected that option, it'll come in around the 10th or the 12th of the month. If you selected the EFT, electronic funds deposit, you'll see it around the 5th or 6th of the month, all right? You can choose to receive either one, physical check or the electronic funds deposit. You can log into your account. You can check your sales. This right here becomes addictive. Once you start to make sales, like, it gets addictive. There was a point where I would wake up 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning and log into my account to check my sales. Like, I was logging into my account like 10, 12 times a day just to check the sales, and I'm like, yes, baby, another one sold. Yes. Yes, another one sold. So, don't say I didn't warn you. It becomes addictive once you start seeing the sales come in. Now, I want to show you guys a video.
How many times a day I go in?
How many times? So I'm not the only one, right?
It's got to be at least 10 times a day.
Right. That's right.
It's insane.
That's it. And Michael says, yeah, baby, another one sold. That's exactly it, Michael. I mean, that's where I'm at. I'm like, yes. And even now, I mean, I'm in there every single day. And now I actually have a peace of mind knowing that next month's check will surpass last month's check, and it keeps growing and growing and growing and growing. All right? So let's take a look at a video of me logging into my account to see how much money it's making me now. All right, this is cool right here. I love this type of stuff right here. So let me move this out of the way. Yeah, it really becomes an issue here when you're logging in, when you're waking up at 3, 4 o'clock and you're like, yes, I sold them. So
I think we lost you
one
there
of
for a
the
second.
apps that you come onto. What about now?
Hey, Ty?
Greg?
For the last
Can you
5
hear me?
seconds we lost you.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you now. We lost you for about 5 seconds.
Okay, I was saying that's one of the obstacles if you want to call it. Okay. Okay, cool. All right. So here I am. I'm going to go in and check my prior month's royalties. Once you get started and you get sales going, Amazon keeps a log of all of your sales on an spreadsheet. So this is my first month, June. Let's open it up. You'll see very first month that I started making sales. And for this month, I made $6.65. And Greg, if you have that calculator, I want you to get it ready in a bit, okay?
Okay.
So $6.65. So, you know, not too much, nothing to write home about, right? But it proved to me one thing. It proved to me that, yes, there's money to be made. My theory is if you can make $1 selling something, then you can make $100. You can make $1,000. You can make $10,000, right? All right, so here I am logging into my August sales. And what's did I in?
Hey, Ty?
It's October. Yes.
We lost you.
You lost me again.
We lost you for about 5 seconds.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Now we can.
Okay, so here's October sales here. I'm going to scroll down here. And now, what you'll see on this spreadsheet is I'm starting to sell on Amazon UK. Your UK sales are always going to be less. So I made $2,873.13 in US sales and $147.44 for UK sales. And your UK sales, by the time you do the currency conversion, you multiply UK sales by 1.5, and that's how you determine how much that converts in US dollars. So December, let's see how much I made in December here. So we went from $2,800 in October, and now we're pulling up the December sales. And I'm going to scroll over and down. And I'm actually blocking out my titles here because, like I said, you shouldn't share your titles with anyone. I strongly believe in that. And when you get up and running, please don't do that. Don't give anyone your login information. Don't give anyone your password. So here, December, all right? $8,403.84 in U.S. sales, okay? Needless to say, it was a great Christmas. And for UK sales, and you see multiple lines here because Amazon creates a line for every title that's sold. So for UK sales, $781. Amazon creates a different line on the spreadsheet for every title that's sold, and there's a different version of that title. By different version, I mean it could be a different price point. Like I've tested different prices. I tested having different elements in my titles. So that's why you see so many different lines there, because for every version, if you have a title, I might have How to Train Your Dog in 90 days, priced at $9.99, and then next week I priced it at $8.99 because I was testing it. So Amazon will give each one of those price differences its own line. Does that make sense, Greg?
Yep.
Okay. So we are. Right? And this is 11,000.
You might have to repeat that.
My U.S. sales, 11,000. 11,076 cents for my U.S. sales. $1,144 for my UK sales. So 11,000 US sales for February, 1,000 plus for UK sales in February. And here's April for most sales that Amazon has given me. Just today. And guys, if on explaining, my sales now $11,367. This is for the past month, most recent check that I've received. 11,000, and then $1,303 in UK sales. Multiply that by 1.5 to get the US conversion. All right, and then here, Amazon just started selling my titles on their German site. I made $45 already, so that's a third income stream there. Just by Amazon now saying, okay, we're opening up the German site as well, so you guys can sell. That's cool. Now let's look at the month-to-date units. Actually, last 6 weeks. Royalties. So this is in the 6 weeks. Be able to see what I've made in investments first to see how much I've made there.
We're losing you.
Okay, so in the German store, $65 and 63 cents. Can you still hear me?
I lost you for about 3 seconds.
Okay, so as you guys saw, $65.63 in the Germans. On the German Amazon site. And then this is the UK site. So, Greg, if you can add that up, 1945.06. 1945.06, then multiply that by 1.5 to get the U.S. Currency equivalent. What do you come up with?
1945.06 times, what was it, 1.5?
Right. And that's for my UK sales. And then while he's doing that, let's take a look at what I made in U.S. store within the last 6 weeks.
29.17.
29.17. All right, so for U.S. sales, $15,509.68 into $15,509.68.
Plus, what was that number again? 29.
29.17.
All right.
And then let's hold on. Let's add in. We can't forget the $65 that I made in a German site.
Oh, hey, listen, we can't forget that. Hold on. Plus 65. What was it?
I forget what the change is, so just put $65.
Okay. What a generous guy. He's donating the change. That totals $18,491.68, which is a little bit higher because we gave away the change.
Right. So within the last 6 weeks, almost $20,000 made, and I have not uploaded any additional content to my account. And I guarantee you next month that dollar amount will be even more. All right. How could something like this change your life? How could something like this change your life? What could you do with the extra money? I mean, some of the things that we've done is, when I say we, I mean my wife and I, we started investing in 529 college savings plans. I not started investing, but started adding even more money to our kids' 529 college savings plans. Could you use it to pay your mortgage, invest in your kids' future, buy a house, or if you already have one, buy a better one, buy a dream car? Greg, tell these guys what I got my wife for Christmas this past Christmas.
You want me to say that publicly? You trying to get me in trouble with my wife?
All courtesy of Amazon.
How about a brand new Mercedes-Benz? And that was her surprise gift with, was it a red bow you put on it?
We put a red bow on it. I should have actually added the picture there. I had a dealership add a red bow to it. Courtesy of Amazon.
Now, I couldn't tell my wife about that, right?
Yeah, she's going to find out when she talks to my wife. My wife's name is Melody. Once she talks to Melody, she'll find out. So,
yeah,
I mean,
thanks, buddy.
But how could something like this get out of debt? I mean, travel. We just got back from Myrtle Beach again. For Mother's Day, we took both of our moms down to the beach, Myrtle Beach, for Mother's Day. Had a great time. Could you start your own brick-and-mortar business? I mean, there's so many different things that you can do with an income stream like this. And the material things, I mean, the cars, the houses, those are fine, but what are some of the experiences, some of the memories that you want to be able to have and provide to other people, provide to your family, provide to your loved ones? Right? Amazon has allowed me to accomplish and experience some of the things that I've always wanted to do. Things like, take up acting classes, learn to fly a helicopter. I didn't tell Greg about this one, but I recently started taking Taekwondo classes with my daughter Maya and my son Tyler. And it's cool to be able to be in a class with them, and they're watching Daddy learn with my old self as they're learning as well. It's allowed me to invest in a few acres of land. It's allowed me to give to children's charities for children that have chronic illnesses, right? It's allowed me to soon start a brick-and-mortar business, something that I've thought about doing for the last couple of years. So I'm actually going to do that this year. So think of all of the dreams and the passions that you have, and then think of how having an additional income stream can help you to achieve them. Because as Oliver Wendell Holmes says, if you are casual about your dreams, you will end up a casualty. So how can an additional income stream like this help you to achieve some of the things that you want to achieve? So why am I sharing this info with you? Right now, you're probably wondering that. The reason why I'm doing this is, number one, is because Greg's a good friend of mine. People are actually in need of something that works. I don't do too many webinars. I don't put together too many internet marketing products. I have my niches that I focus on. And the reason why I don't do that is because I believe that if I'm going to invest time in something, if I'm going to share something with people who are going to give me their time, then it has to be something that works, something that really works. I don't believe in teaching people theory. And I only believe in teaching people things that work to the point that I've tested them, that I've retested them, that I'm actually doing it. All right? I've shown a couple of other well-known marketers and people that I mastermind with, and like Greg says, for years, they've been asking me to put this stuff together, and they've been saying, you should share this with a few people, even if it's just a handful of people. And I finally did it. And one of the most important reasons why is because recently I started seeing a lot of lesser-known marketers put together Kindle how-to products that are just garbage. I mean, I've bought all of them. I've purchased every single Kindle how-to publish on Kindle product, and every single one of them is garbage. And they're missing key elements. They're missing pieces, and I can tell when I'm going through these things, I'm like, this guy's not even making money on Kindle. He's selling theory here. I can tell. Have you ever purchased a product before and you can tell when someone's really doing what they're teaching you? Ebooks are the new
easiest thing in the world.
Absolutely. Now, according to Forrester Research, nearly $1 billion worth of ebooks were sold this past year. And next year, by 2015, that number is expected to jump. It's expected to triple to $3 billion. Needless to say, there's a lot of money to be made. That's why companies, multi-billion-dollar companies like Walmart, Target, Best Buy, Staples, are jumping on this bandwagon. All right, think about that. This is the ground floor. Why not capitalize on it? Why not be able to get in on the ground level? Most people fail simply because they undervalue the opportunities that are given to them. Even when they see something that they know works, even when they see something that's coming from a trusted source, most people will fail because they undervalue the opportunities that are given to them. Excuses come to us easily. Reasons do not. All right? Give yourself all the right reasons to accomplish something, and you'll find a reason to get it done. You'll find a way to make it possible. So let's take a look at a couple of ways to test to see if your ideas are scorching hot topics to publish.
And as you do that, Kim said she was in her account 5 times today, and she thought she had a problem.
I love it, Kim. It gets addictive. I tell you, I love it. Absolutely. So you're a slacker, Kim. You got to move up 20 times a day. No, I'm just playing with you. So here's how you test. You come up with a topic, right? One of the things I like to do is I like to get an idea. So if I'm thinking of something like, and I was screwing around with something earlier, I was testing one of Greg's AdWords theories earlier. But let's say if you come up with an idea, let's say if you want to create an ebook around yoga, something like yoga. So this is actually Google's free keyword tool, and you can find this by going to google.com and doing a search for free keyword tool. All right? And you come here, you type in your topic, all right? And you hit the search button. And while this is thinking, you can see where Google's actually coming up. And Greg's over there answering questions a mile a minute. I can hear him typing on his keyboard.
Oh, you can hear it?
So here, type in your topic there, and try to be as basic as possible with it, because the reason why you want to be as basic as possible is because Amazon will give you other ideas. I mean, ideas that you, not Amazon, I said Amazon. Google will give you other ideas that you may have not even thought about. And once your results come back, click on global monthly searches, because you want to be able to sort by global monthly searches. Right? You want the most searches to appear at the top, and then you want this number to get smaller, right, as you scroll down. So let's look and see. So yoga. Now that's a very broad term right there. You've got 13.5 million people that are searching for yoga. Then you've got something like Pilates, all right, which is a off form of yoga, right? You've got yoga. I have no idea what that is, all right? You've got yoga postures. That would be something excellent to publish content around. You know, yoga postures. You've got, and again, look at this. There's 246,000 searches for yoga postures. Yoga postures is another search where people search for postures yoga and yoga postures. 201,000 searches. 246,000 yoga mat, yoga positions. Again, same thing as yoga postures, right? Yoga classes. Let me scroll down some here. And as you get lower in the numbers, you start to see where you start to come up with niches that are really cool. And this is where I'm talking about, you don't want to really go after the broad topics, but you want to really niche it down some. All right, so you see how we have Ashtanga yoga, and I'm sure I'm butchering that. But that's something that would make a cool Kindle ebook topic right there, because you have 135,000 searches. Anything that gets more than a combined total of 10,000 searches a month, I think makes a great topic. What's that, Greg?
I just said, whoa.
Yoga, yeah, that's a lot of searches there. You've got Kundalini yoga. Kundalini yoga. 135,000 searches. Another great topic to publish Kindle content around. All right? Yoga training. You can put together a yoga guide. All right? I actually have a Kindle title that's based on yoga, actually, that does fairly well. All right? Moksha yoga, 74,000 searches. Again, it gets more than 10,000 searches. All right, so you've got a lot of topics that you can come in and find, and actually, publish titles to. Give me another example. What are some of the things that you guys would like to see if there's, if it's a good topic? What do you see? Is there anything that's coming up, Greg?
Let's take a look.
And we'll do the research here and while we're doing that, let's type in koi fish. This is something that I'm pretty passionate about. I've been studying koi fish, and I want to actually put a koi fish pond in the backyard, but my wife won't let me. She hasn't given me the okay yet, so I got to butter her up a little bit more. So let's see how many searches come up for the phrase koi fish.
Kayaking.
Well, say that again?
There's a few that came up that are pretty good. I think kayaking is a pretty decent one.
Oh, kayaking is good, yeah. What else have you got?
Let's see. Someone says bamboo. I don't know what that would be a niche for.
Yeah, bamboo is a little bit general.
Bamboo. Soccer is another one.
Soccer is cool. I actually have a soccer guide. Now, I'll tell you guys some of the titles, not titles, but topics, but I won't give you the exact title. But I have a soccer guide that does well. And it's soccer for kids. I mean, it does well. Right? You see how I niche it down? You take something very general like soccer, and then you can do soccer for moms, or soccer for dads, or soccer for first-time players, or soccer for kids, or soccer for the elderly. I mean, there's just so much that you can do with that. Even with something like kayaking for beginners, kayaking clubs, how to form a kayaking club, kayaking equipment. You can put together a guide on that. Advanced kayaking. All right, so you always want to try to niche it down as much as possible, because you want to get to the diehard person that's looking for something really specific. That's the person that's easier to sell to. All right, that's the person that's easier to sell to. Right.
And the thing I want to point out to folks, and this is my AdWords here coming out, is Amazon is a search engine, just like Google and AdWords is a search engine. The only difference is the folks on Amazon start their search with a credit card in their hand.
Right.
People in Google don't start with a credit card in their hand. They go looking for free information, and then they are sold into buying something. But in Amazon, every single person that's in Kindle that's searching for something, that person has the intention of buying. So there's a wide variety of niche markets that you can go into in Kindle, and every one of them that's the difference. Every one of them is good, because when someone searches for it, they're looking to buy. I mean, that's a totally different mindset that people need to understand, and there's zero marketing involved. Like when you put your titles up, there's no marketing. It's like there is no traffic generation. You don't have to go out and say, okay, how do I get 1,000 visitors to my site? This is not something you got to worry about. So just want to make sure I get that point across.
Right. Yeah, I just typed in kayaking, which is a topic that someone suggested, and check this out. You'll see where You've got kayaking, over 500,000 searches, right? But what's even more interesting is you see kayak fishing. I've never heard of this before. Kayak fishing, 110,000 searches, kayaks fishing. And then kayak fishing, the singular version of it, 90,000. Fishing kayak, 90,000. Kayak for fishing. So this has got to be something that is pretty popular. Would make an excellent Kindle topic. All right? Kayaking and canoeing. Let's scroll down and see what else. Ocean kayaking. All right? Excellent Kindle topic. 74,000 searches. All right? Let's see what else we have. So do you see how easy this is as far as picking out the topics and things like that?
Oh, absolutely.
Inflatable kayaks. You can put together a guide on what to look for in inflatable kayaks. Again, for beginners, for newbies, things like that. All right? So those are just a few examples and ways that you can go in and actually put together great topics. And, I mean, the possibilities are endless. It's totally up to you. All right. Now, at the very beginning, I spoke about some of the title enhancers, what I call title enhancers, and things that actually help me to double and triple my sales. And if you notice, when it comes to titles, when we were in our Kindle account, I mentioned two things that are at your front line, first line of defense, which is number one, your title, number two, your cover. I found that just by tweaking my titles and adding certain elements to them, I can increase my sales. Right? And this was after doing months and months of testing and things like that. I found out there's certain elements that actually help me to increase my sales. And I'm going to show you some of these things right here. And let's take a look at them. I found that by adding how-to to my titles, right, that increased my sales. So, for example, if I had a title that said, stain your deck like a professional. Just by adding how to stain your deck like a professional, it helped to increase my sales. And the reason why is because mindset. If you think about it, there's a little bit of psychology behind all of this. When people are looking for a solution, they're instantly asking themselves, subconsciously, they're asking themselves, how can I get this accomplished? How can I get this accomplished? So by adding how to, you're answering that question. How to stain your deck like a professional. The person is asking, how can I stain my deck? Well, here, how to stain your deck like a professional. Not only how to stain your deck, but how to stain it like a professional. All right? People want instant solutions. So I found that by testing and just playing around with adding quickest to some of my titles, that increased the sales. 21 quickest ways to make money online. People want to know, how can I make money online? Well, here's 21 quick ways to do it. Again, how to get something done extremely, extremely fast. Fastest way to. I found that adding the phrase fastest ways to. Fastest way to get your nursing degree works so much better than how to get your, not how to, get a nursing degree. Or the guide to getting your nursing degree. The fastest way to get your nursing degree. Right? Because again, subconsciously, people want to get things done. They don't want this thing to lag, right? They're not looking for the slowest way to get a nursing degree. Well, I'm looking for a nursing degree, and I want to do it in about 7, 8, 9, 10 years. No, we're looking to get this thing done ASAP. The other thing is that I found is cheapest way to. The ultimate guide to moving across country and the cheapest way to do it. You can add these title enhancers to any title. Ways to. Simple ways to look Hollywood good on a Skid Row budget. Easy ways to. Tips to. Best way to. All right. And the reason why these perform so well is if you take any one of these and you add it back to our Google keyword tool and you do a search, you'll see that there's hundreds of thousands of searches that come up that include these title enhancers. For example, how to, and this is another cool way to find topics, just like red hot topics right here. Let's give this a second to load up here. And as we scroll down some, remember you always want to scroll down because the ones at the very top are not going to be too cool. So how to draw, great topic. And if you drill that down even more, how to draw faces, how to draw bodies, how to draw, body parts, things like that. How to learn, how to kiss, how to make a website. I have a title that deals with creating websites that does extremely well. Greg, I think I've shown that before. How to make hairballs. My wife was just making hairballs the other night. How to make hairballs. You know, that's something that you can create a Kindle title on. How to plumbing. How to learn sign language. You know, how to edit. That could be editing web pages or whatever it could be. Right? So it's just a couple of ways to come up with different titles and things like that, and how to test the topics that you're considering as well. I highly recommend testing everything that you do, because that just it allows you to create shortcuts. And like I said, I'm not one to go in and reinvent the world or do things the most difficult way. I like to get things done the most effective way. Right? So that's it. Now, this works for every single market. All right? Think about it. Publishing material to Amazon's Kindle works. Works for any niche, works for any market, and you can still make money, like Greg said earlier. It works for small markets, niche markets, large markets, obscure markets. It works for ebooks, long reports, short reports. As a matter of fact, right before the webinar, I was telling Greg about one of my students who's doing about $2,500 a month publishing short 3, 4, 2-page reports. $2,500 a month off of 2, 3, 4-page reports. It works for stuff that you have ghostwritten. It works for stuff that you purchase PLR rights, private label rights to. It works for stuff that you write yourself if you're a writer. All right? There's nothing that can hold you back with this stuff. Think about it. Think about it. This allows you to jump over all of the traditional barriers that you would see when it comes to internet marketing and making money online, because you don't have to have money. There's no upfront advertising cost. There's no startup cost. With Amazon, as you've just seen, we can go in, start up our account, create our account, and we're up and running in 5 minutes. You don't have to be an expert, or you don't even have to be smart, to be honest with you. You don't need to have an ISBN number or a barcode. You don't have to be a writer. Like I said, I can't stand writing. I failed English 101 twice because of that. You don't need to know how to write copy or how to be a marketer, super marketer. You don't have to understand pay-per-click or article marketing. You don't need traffic, because Amazon provides all the traffic. They provide all the prospects, and they then turn those prospects into customers for you. All right? Some people are lazy. I can't help you with that, but, I mean, you don't even need to have a lot of time. It takes about 10 minutes to create each revenue stream, and actually you can get it done a lot quicker, about 5 minutes to go in and upload each title. So there you have it. There's no excuses. So who is something like this for? All right? This is for someone who's looking for an easy, doable way to make money. In fact, you could do this even if you have never sold anything online in your life, or even if you've never sold anything offline. You could do this if you have a 7th grade education, as my 13-year-old has. You can do this if you have limited experience, limited internet access. I actually, this says 12-year-old, and I was supposed to do this a couple of weeks ago with Greg, but I was still on the fence as if I wanted to share this information with people or not. All right, so that's why she's 13 now. But you could do this if you have limited experience, limited internet access, limited. I have one student who does it from Starbucks, guy out on the West Coast. He does it from Starbucks. He'll go to Starbucks. He doesn't have internet access at home, and he'll upload his content. He's just getting started. All right, you can do this if you have limited time, limited money, if you hate writing like I do, if you have no technical skills. You saw how easy it was. You don't have to be super technical. I'm not technical at all. All right, when Greg starts talking about programming, I fade out. You can do this if you live in another country. Right? Amazon accepts people from multiple countries, and I should have gone over that when we were creating an account, but even if you live in Africa, the UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Germany, anywhere practically on the planet, you can set up an account. When you go in and set up your account, you'll see that there's dozens and dozens and dozens of countries that Amazon accepts publishers from. You can do that. You can set up an account from any state within the United States as well. There are literally people from countries around the globe that are making money with this thing. All right, so why not you? Why not you? There's no excuses to this. I don't even own a Kindle. And we were joking about this a couple of weeks ago, Greg. And I didn't even realize it at the time. I think you were asking me something about have I ever went and purchased one of my books or something, right?
No, that's not how the conversation came up.
What was it?
Okay, this is another one of our true stories, right? So we were talking, and I said to you, I said, hey, do you know what I did last night? I went on the Kindle and looked at one of my titles through the Kindle. And I said, I just wanted to see what the cover looked like on the Kindle. And you said to me, hey, that's pretty interesting. I made all this money on Kindle. I don't even own one. I think I laughed so hard. It was the funniest thing I'd ever heard in my life.
And it had just dawned on me at that moment. It had just dawned on me at that moment that here I was publishing content, and I'm making money, and I'm getting these checks, and I'm getting tens of thousands of dollars, and I hadn't even purchased a Kindle at that. I'm the traditional type of guy. I like to be able to feel my books and smell them and look at them and, you know, dog ear them and mark them up. So the Kindle wasn't really, you know, it wasn't something that I was rushing to get. I just recently got one for my mother-in-law for Mother's Day, but yeah, I still don't own one. So that's pretty cool there. So if a guy like me can make money, $15,000, $20,000, publishing content to Kindle, a guy who spelled English 101 twice, not once but twice, you can. I know it. No excuses. So let's look at some of the testimonials. I shared this with a couple of people that are in my inner circle, and there's one lady named Feria. She says, I'm excited and grateful to be in on this, especially at the time that this is happening. I feel that it was meant for me. Another individual, Lakeisha, who's out on the West Coast, single mother from California. She's raising 3 sons, working on a job. She says she was just over broke, and she knew that she had to get out of it. She made the sacrifice. She took a chance, believed in the system, believed in herself, and the God-given ability to create wealth. The God-given ability to create wealth. She did it, and so can you. All right? Harry says, you gave me the motivation and inspiration to change my life financially by publishing for Kindle. This type of work is a great fit for me as a senior guy who truly needs the money after going unexpectedly unemployed from my college job. Harry, I love this guy because he then sent me another email afterwards. He says, hey, Ty, just finished video number 2. The title and description information is awesome. Puts us in a whole different level than other people. Just great information. Harry is just one of those guys who just takes info, man, and he just runs with it. He's an action taker. He just takes action, and he goes, and he starts to see the results. I'm really proud of Harry, and he's a senior, and I mean, he's someone who doesn't set limits. I mean, this is a guy who's done it. So if he can do it, you can do it. This is your acre of diamonds. Right? I told you the story about the individual who passed up on a little diamond mine that he had right below his feet. Don't pass this up and allow someone else to reap the benefits of it. You may never see something like this that's as easy as this again, ever. All right? So let's get started. I'm going to do something very special and make an opportunity available to a few extremely fast-acting individuals that take action. All right? I'm going to give you my entire system. What I've done is put together a very complete course that shows you step-by-step how I grew my Amazon publishing account from nothing, as you guys saw. I think, what was it? I started with $6,065, right, to over $10,000. I should have changed that to over $15,000. It's nearly $20,000 now, as you've just seen, in a few months, right? In this, I show you every single thing that I've learned about making unheard of amounts of money publishing content to Kindle. Everything, including all of the test results that I didn't show you here, that I couldn't show you here, things that allowed me to double the amount of money that I was making and then triple that afterwards. If you've seen in the videos, I'll show you how to find topics to publish that are highly in demand, topics that sell like crazy. I'm a testing fanatic. I mean, one of the things I like is just testing different things just to see what gets people to buy, right? So I've tested dozens of different things, price points, topics, title enhancers, and I'll give you all of this. You'll get the big money ideas that I've come up with and things that actually work. Remember, I don't believe in just teaching theory. I believe in teaching what actually works. I'll show you how to pick the best way to go, and whether that's private label rights, ghostwritten material, or writing it yourself. If private label rights is what you'll be selling, I'll show you my 3 favorite places to get low cost, high quality private label rights products up front. All right? I'll show you how to hire someone to write your own content. And I'll show you the right and wrong way to do this. When I first started, I made a lot of mistakes. All right, and I've been able to correct those things, and you're actually going to be able to learn from the mistakes I made. One of my students, in his first month, he has made over $400 in his first month. His goal was to beat my first month, my second month, my third month, my fourth month, my fifth month, and my sixth month. So far, and Greg, we were talking about this right before the webinar. So he's beat my first month. He's beat my second month. He's on track to beat my second month, actually. Right? Because I've already made all of the mistakes. So you guys are learning the system that I've perfected. And you're avoiding all of the road bumps, the mistakes that I've made already. Okay? Or if you choose to write your own content, I'll give you my professional pre-formatted template that makes the whole process of writing your own content drop dead easy. It gets your material approved every single time without delay. All right? I'll show you the simple strategy that I taught one of my buddies that is now making him $2,700 a month. And I told you guys earlier about this. He's publishing just simple 2 to 4 page reports. This is some easy stuff right here. I gave him the idea, and this is another guy that was a go-getter, and he took off with it, and he's actually seeing tremendous results. In fact, I have one of my kids doing this as well. I'll also tell you the same thing that I told Greg Caesar that allowed him to take two ebooks and to sell over 100 copies right out the gate. His first time doing it. Greg, so how many titles have you sold so far altogether? Because I don't think we covered that.
I'm still at number 2.
So you only have 2 ebooks up, but how many titles have you sold? I mean, not titles. How many have you sold combined? How many copies?
Oh, combined?
Right.
I'm over 400.
Over 400. So
400.
I'm going to show you the same thing.
The test.
And that was the test, right? So you'll get an audio that shows you the same exact thing that I showed Greg that allowed him to take these 2 ebooks and sell over, here it says 100 copies, but as you just heard, he sold over 400 copies right out the gate. His first time doing it. It's that easy. I'll show you how to find what people are searching for and want to buy so that you can give it right to them, like shooting fish in a barrel, because the easiest way to make money is by finding out what people want and then giving it right to them. And I'll show you how that's done. I'll also tell you the 3 prices that I have tested and found that double, tripled, and even quadrupled my ebook sales. This is cool stuff because the pricing, like once I started testing prices, I found that there were 3 of them that really work right out the gate that allow you to make so much more money than other prices. So I'm going to give you that stuff as well. And I've only shared that with a few people. The other thing that you're going to get is I'm going to show you how to create best-selling titles and descriptions, all right, that draw people in, to your stuff and make them want to buy, all right, over anything else that they see on Amazon. That's really powerful. You'll get the templates that I use, and you'll get the entire process that I use to hire cover creators. And these are people that create highly professional covers at $3 or less. $3 or less, just like the cover that I showed you. And you know what? This alone is something that's extremely valuable because there's some people that pay hundreds of dollars to have just one cover created. And I've been able to get this down to a science to the point where I pay $3 or less. And it's actually a lot less sometimes that I'm paying, but you won't pay any more than $3, trust me, for each cover. I'll show you how to price your ebooks for maximum sales, and the reason why I have that up there twice is because that's really important right there. It's really important. Once you get the pricing strategy done right. I'll also show you how to get hundreds and even thousands of other websites to post links back to your ebooks on Amazon, helping you to make even more money. So imagine having hundreds and even thousands of other sites pointing back to your stuff that allow you to make more money, and they're marketing your ebooks all for free. You don't have to pay anything, right? I'll also show you some of the tips that I use for picking what content to sell on Amazon. There's one method that I figured out that helped me triple my sales from almost $3,000, which was $2,800 that I showed you, a month to $8,000. I'll also show you live examples of the top 5 money-losing mistakes that I see people make on Amazon. There's 5 critical mistakes that I see people make when they first start publishing to Amazon. And these are things that allow them or that cause them not to make money, or at least not to make money in the amounts that they hope to make. Right? You'll get access to the entire list of special words and title enhancers that I use in my titles, I'll show you how you can use Amazon to build a huge list of buyers. This is something that I really, really like right here. How to use Amazon to build a list of buyers. Because like we said a few times, everyone that visits Amazon is a buyer. All right? And more than likely, that's an individual who has a credit card, who's prepared to make a purchase online. Being able to use Amazon to build up a list of buyers is crucial. Right? Imagine having a list of people who are not only not afraid to purchase online, but are more than happy to do so. This one strategy alone makes me an additional $5,000 to $6,000 a month just by being able to have buyers at my disposal that I can market other products to, like affiliate products and things like that. So that's really cool. If you still have questions, which I'm sure you won't because the course is just that complete, you'll also get my private email address as well as the ability to email me once a week with any questions that you have. So let's talk about value. Something like this that's not, I don't believe in get-rich-quick schemes. I don't believe in, if someone says that you can get rich quick overnight, you should run. Run in the opposite direction. This is a get-rich-quick, get-rich-slowly, and stay-rich system. All right, that has multiple can't-lose factors. We talked about some of the can't-lose factors, but those include people that visit Amazon being buyers that have credit cards. We talked about Amazon being a multi-billion-dollar company. We talked about other multi-billion-dollar companies jumping on board the Kindle, and companies like Walmart and Target and Staples and Best Buy seeing the potential of this and saying, yes, we want in on this. So when you have companies like that aboard, you know that there's a can't-lose factor that's there. All right? It's easy. You don't need any special skills. My 12-year-old does this. You're dealing with highly reputable companies. You're dealing with someone like Amazon that stakes their future on your success, that needs you, that needs your content. You can make money month after month, as you've seen from my checks, as you've seen from the videos. All right? So even if I were to pay $20,000 for something like this, in my first month, I would have made it back. No, not my first month, but I would have made it back in 1 month, as you've seen. Right? Wouldn't you agree, Greg? If I paid $20,000 for this, I would have made it back, and everything else after that would have been gravy.
I would have done that in a heartbeat. And especially now that I know, you know when they say hindsight is 20/20?
Right.
And knowing what I know about the system, absolutely.
In fact, Greg and I we're kicking around the idea of holding a private by-invite-only live seminar at his mansion. This guy literally has a mansion. You know, some of you guys has been there before. We're going to be teaching the same information and charging $5,000 for this.
And let me tell you this. I've got a lot of friends in the internet marketing world, and you are, first of all, I mean, you've been to my house, you've slept at my house many times, but you are the absolute only other person that I've ever said, hey, why don't you come to my house, let's hold a workshop. And people know me, my students know, I don't just talk about anything or present any kind of information. My students will tell you that. So the fact that I was willing and asking you to come to my house to do that, they know that, I don't do that lightly. So if somebody said, is Greg cooking too? Yeah, hamburgers, that's about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you want him to cook anything other than that. But you see, so do you guys see the value in this? I mean, even if I paid $20,000 for something like that, like this, I still would have made my investment back within 1 month, and everything else after that is gravy because it's a recurring system. Right? We've got the live event where we're charging $5,000. You won't pay anywhere near that amount with the system, with the physical course, all right? But the value is there. And with something like this, only people that are super serious will get in. Super serious. Who need an easy way to make money. And because of that, everyone who gets into this system, and not everyone will get in, but everyone who does get in will have to provide me with a testimony of your success once you start making money. Because I thrive off of that. I like to see you guys succeed. I like to see you guys beat my numbers. It's a challenge, right? I'm a very competitive person, so I want you to say, Ty, I'm going to, like my one student out on the West Coast who said, Ty, I'm going to beat your numbers. Yes, let's do it. Let's challenge each other. The second thing is I want you to do something. Don't sign up for this program if you're not going to do anything with it, because it's an easy system. It's just too easy to get it right. The third thing is you agree to never ask for a refund, again, because it's just too easy to get it right, as I've said just so many times. All right? I've worked really, really hard to perfect this thing. I've worked really hard to get it right. It's making me a ton of money, and I'm really serious about making sure that you guys are successful with it. All right? So only a few people will get in. With that said, this is not a cheap downloadable product. It's not a 30 to 30 page ebook based on something that might work. It's based on stuff that actually works. It's a physical video course on multiple video CDs that will be shipped out to you by mail. It contains information that absolutely does work. There's a lot of content in this thing. I cover everything. I go over everything. Every simple question that you could have, I cover. Right, from things that are simple to the most advanced and everything in between. And to be sure that I provide you with as much value as possible, I decided to put it all on a collection of high-quality videos so you can see what I do as I do it. It's like literally looking over my shoulder, all right? Over my shoulder. And I've made it super easy so that everyone can follow along, especially people that are newbies and beginners, because I want you guys to be successful at this, all right? So there's only a couple of these physical video courses that are available, in which I show you this entire system from start to finish. You'll get to look over my shoulder, you'll get to see my screen, you'll get to see everything that I do so that you can start making money as quickly as possible, so that you can build these revenue streams that create recurring income for you on a monthly basis. At the beginning of this presentation, I shared the story of the farmer who went looking for diamonds somewhere else, only to miss out on the many acres of diamonds that were right there in front of him all along. This is your diamond mine. This is your diamond mine. Do not procrastinate on this. When I first got started, I procrastinated for a while because I wasn't sure if it would work. And because of that, I only made $6.65 in the month of June, my first month. Had I really taken this thing serious, I could have been making $40,000, $50,000 a month now. To get one of a few courses, go to www.30dayprofits.com. Again, that site is www.30dayprofits.com. This is a system that contains an entire package. It's an entire success package. There's no tricks, no gimmicks, no loopholes. It's a 100% guaranteed system that's almost better than anything that you've ever seen before, and it will change your life. That's just like it's changed my life and the lives of many other people, simply because it's a diamond. Visit the site now, because the price that you see will go up. I'm actually planning on increasing the price by $100 after midnight tonight, and then every day afterwards. So you actually want to go there now, 30dayprofits.com. The other thing that I want to do is, because you guys are people that are near and dear to Greg, and you're customers of his, and you're people that have dealt with him before, so I want to make this really special. So I have 2 fast action bonuses that I want to give out to the first 12 people to order right now. The first one is, it's an audio. And this is actually an audio that me and Greg had put together, and it's us sharing some of the things that have actually worked, like some of the really hot button things that work for our accounts, that really helped us to get to the numbers that we were after, and that helped us to ramp up our sales. So you'll get this if you're one of the first 12 people. Not everyone will get this, just the first 12 people to order. And the other thing is, Barnes & Noble also has their version of the Kindle. And right now, I'm testing and I'm experimenting with Barnes & Nobles, and I'm adding content to their platform as well. And I'm putting together a mini course. It's not going to be as extensive as the Amazon course, because the Amazon course covers almost everything. But this will be a course on some of the things that I find that work exclusively to Barnes & Nobles and the Nook. And once I put this together, and this will be probably in about 6 to 8 weeks once it's all done, and I'm finished testing certain elements. Everyone that orders, well, actually the first 12 people that order will get a copy of that course as well. So you'll get a copy of that course, and you'll also get the Kindle cash flow audio that me and Greg put together as well. So you'll get all of that in addition to the entire system. All right, so you'll get all of the other DVDs and the videos and things like that. So you have to be one of the first 12 to order that right now. And so when you do that, and you can go to www.30dayprofits.com. Remember that the price that you see on the site is a fast action price, as well as these two bonuses. These are fast action bonuses for the first 12 people to order, and the price is a fast action bonus for the first people that order before midnight. All right? So you want to be one of the first 12 so that you can get these two. And, get into this thing. There's money that can be made. You've seen how easy it is. Don't allow yourself to be talked out of this. One of the worst enemies that we can have is ourselves. We allow ourselves to create excuses. We allow ourselves to be talked out of things. And sometimes we talk our own selves out of it. We doubt things. We make excuses up. We're skeptical. All right? Don't allow yourself to talk yourself out of missing out on a great opportunity. So, Greg, with that said, that's the end of the presentation there. Do you have anything that you want to add?
I just wanted to say, first of all,
I think we might have
thanks
lost.
for being on. Can you hear me?
Absolutely, I can hear you now.
Okay, good. Wanted to say thanks for being on. And folks, my guys are used to knowing that I do marathons anyway, so I go a little bit long. We wanted to make this a little bit shorter, but one of the stipulations that I told Ty was, I want people to walk away with a blueprint and something that they can walk away and have some action steps. And I want to thank you for doing that. I know most people would not have done that. And like I've told a couple people in the chat, the reason you probably did is because you're not an internet marketer. Most of the internet marketing guys would not give you that level of information and step-by-step instruction, because that's what they sell. See, most of the guys would sell that to you and then upsell you something else, so we do appreciate that. I do want to say one thing. When you talked about the acting class,
right?
That was the one that caught me a little bit by surprise. I'm going to be honest with you. I was talking to Ty one day, as we normally do our little, at one point we were talking about recording our calls so people could listen in, but when you said, I said, where are you going? Oh, I'm going to an acting class, and I've got a reading or something for some acting gig. I was like, what? What the hell are you doing? So that one actually of all the things that you did, that one caught me by surprise. So that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, that was a couple of months ago, actually.
And then you mentioned Myrtle Beach. The fact that you went to Myrtle Beach is not the surprise. Here's what the surprise was. Except for this weekend, when was the last time you went to Myrtle Beach?
We went 2 weeks ago.
So, dude, you went this week and then you went the week before. So it's about lifestyle, folks, which is good. There's been a few people who've been asking. I think you should explain. I mean, I know what it is, but some people are saying, hey, I don't understand what PLR is, and a couple folks have asked that. So do you want to explain to them what exactly is PLR and how that can help them?
Absolutely. Great question, guys. PLR is basically, it's short for private label rights, and private label rights is content that other people have written. So it's content that was prepared and written by someone else, and that person allows you to take that content and sell it as your own. So you can purchase it from them. You can purchase the rights to resell that content. So now you can go in, you can make money off of it. And the cool thing about it is you keep 100% of the profits. So you keep 100% of the profits. And there's one thing that I want to share with you guys. And one of the things that really has me excited about this whole Amazon Kindle, I call it the Kindle cash flow system, that has me excited about this is that you don't have to be a writer. You can go in and purchase PLR material. One of the places that I like to get my PLR material from is a site called theplrstore.com, theplrstore.com. And if you notice, once you visit their site, they have private label rights, ebooks, and material and reports on literally hundreds of different subjects. So let's take a look at some of this stuff. And skydiving 101, right? Dog training, yoga, self-development, mental health, teeth whitening. And look at the prices. So for $2.99, you get to own the rights to this ebook. You get to own the rights to resell it on Amazon or on your own website or anywhere else, and you get 100% of a profit. There's so many titles and ebooks that I've purchased from this site and other sites that I share with you in the course that I've purchased for $4 or $3 or even some as low as $1.99, and I've sold for $8, $9, $10 a copy within my Kindle account. And I've made hundreds and thousands of dollars off of some of these. Some of these things that I've just paid $2.99, $4.99 for, and I've made hundreds of dollars or even thousands of dollars from. All right. Now, let's look at some of the different topics that they have up here that you can purchase private label rights for: acne, aging, alternative energy, animals, aquariums, art, article marketing, article packages, article packages, that's something else. Automotive, beauty, birds, blogging, debt, diabetes, diet. So, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Look at this thing, all right? Forex trading, which is the stock market trading, investing, jewelry, law, motorcycles, music, inflatable boats. Look at this. We talked about, you know what? Talk about kayaking. We were talking about kayaking earlier. Inflatable boats, all right? Life insurance. You can buy an ebook or private label rights package that deals with life insurance, pet health care. And then when you click onto these, it opens up. So we'll click onto organizations here, all right? It opens up to another page where you can go in and you can purchase products. Look at the prices here, $3.99, and you get to resell those at whatever price point you want, and you keep all of the profits, all right? You keep everything. So that's what private label rights stands for, PLR, private label rights, one and the same. So material that you can go in and purchase that was written by someone else, and that is willing to sell the rights to you, all right? So that's a great question. What else do you have here, Greg? Anything else?
Okay, let's look at one that came up quite a bit. A lot of people asked about the pen name.
Right.
Why should I have a pen name? Why should I use a different pen name? So I've answered a few, but maybe you might want to answer that for everyone.
Absolutely, great question. The reason why is because I don't like people copying my titles. Imagine you put in the hard work to do something, and then some joker comes along, and he says, oh, wow, this title's selling pretty well. Looks like a great one. I'm going to copy it. And that happens all the time. It happens in traditional internet marketing. It happens. It will happen here when you're publishing content to Kindle. So I always use a pen name, and usually I'll use a different pen name for each one of my Kindle titles. I just don't want people copying stuff that I've put together that is working, that's making me a lot of money. All right? So that's it. No other reason. Now you can use your own name if you want. If I just happen to use a pen name.
Yeah, and the other thing is what most people don't realize is, Amazon will show your other titles.
Right.
But if you've got a different name, person can't see your other titles. So I think that's the other important reason why you want to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Amazon will show all of the titles that were written under that one pen name. So that's one of the reasons why I'll go in. And sometimes I'll use a different pen name for each title. Sometimes I'll use the same pen name. But it's totally up to you. Totally up to your preference and, what you feel comfortable with doing. There's no right or wrong when it comes to that. I just do it because I don't like people copying my stuff, so that's about it.
Awesome.
So D. Stone says, this is a great question. How many Kindle publishing accounts do you have or advise to have? I have one, and I advise you to only have one because it's against Amazon's terms of service to have more than one. So you definitely want to stay within their terms of service. So one account is great. That's all you really need. You can publish as much content or as little as you want, and you can publish different topics within that same account. So that's all you need is one. Malcolm has another question. Malcolm says, can you sell through Amazon if you are in the UK? And yes, and therefore receive funds in US dollar. I wonder if being in the UK, my sales would be limited to only Amazon UK. Number one, yes, you can sell. If you're in the UK, actually, there's multiple countries. There's dozens of different countries that Amazon allows Kindle publishers from. So that's not an issue, Malcolm. And yes, you can receive your funds in the US dollar as well. Yes, you can. Great question.
Awesome. Been getting a lot of great feedback from folks saying, awesome content. I think, again, the important thing is you've got an action plan. But let's see if we've got some other good questions that come up. By the way, I must have answered about 150 questions myself.
I see.
I've been typing away. Have you been hearing it?
I have heard that. And actually, you know what? I've got a great question here. Mike Gonzalez says, there are a few states of the United States that Amazon does not like. Actually, Mike, I think you're confusing this with Amazon's associate program, which is their affiliate program. There are some states in North Carolina, where I live, is one of the states where Amazon does not allow affiliates. This is totally different from the affiliate program. This is their Kindle publishing program. So because you're not an affiliate of theirs, they welcome people from all of the states within the United States. All right, it's their affiliate program that there's certain countries, certain states that they don't allow people. These are totally two different programs. All right, so you can set up a account, being from Colorado or even from North Carolina, where I'm from, and have no issues at all. Right?
Okay. Here's a question, and I don't know if you want to answer it with your examples, or if you want me to answer based on someone who's a newbie, because someone may look at you and say, well, you've been doing it, so it's different. But reality is you started at the same place as everybody else. So the question is, realistically, how long will it take someone to make money from the get-go?
I would say about a month to 2 months. As you're saying, it depends. When I first started, I made $6.65. Now I count that as income, right? Because my theory is if you can make $1, then you can make $10. You can make $100. You can make $1,000. And that was the first time I tried this. I have not had any other experience publishing to Amazon Kindle. Like I said, I don't even own a Kindle. So it doesn't really matter. This system is so easy and straightforward because, remember, Amazon wants to make this as simple as possible for content publishers because they want you to make money. When you make money, they make money. They even have a community area where, you can go and ask questions, and there's a support section as well. So, yeah, they make it as very simple, all right? And they allow you to upload content. They make it really easy. They give you answers. They give you multiple ways to generate revenue because, again, they want to make money, because every time you make money, they will.
Yep, absolutely. And I will tell you, for me, I uploaded my first title. It was January 20th, and I want to say by the end of January, which is a total of 9 days. So that also includes the time to get approved. I already sold 10 on that first, 8 days or whatever it was. So for me, I started making sales from the get-go right away on day one. And as my titles moved up in the rankings, I mean, it went from, one sale here and there to, 3, 4 a day. So for me, it was actually relatively quick that I was able to have that happen.
Right, absolutely. And it doesn't take much time. Actually, it's really easy. As you guys saw when I went in and uploaded the sample copy, it's a straightforward process. You add your title, you add your description, you add your keywords, you pick your category, you upload your cover, you upload your ebook, your report, and you publish it. You set your pricing, you set your royalty rate, and you publish it. Right? It's very easy, and the reason why they make it easy is because they want you to succeed. That's it. Right, that's it.
A couple people have been asking about price points. What should they price their product at?
I actually go over that in the course, but one of the prices that I found is really good is $8.97. That's a good price. There's a bunch of them that I go over in the course, and I give you guys some great details on how to determine the best pricing and things like that. But $8.97 is a great price for anything that you have that's over 20 pages. Okay, so anything that you have over 20 pages, Amazon selling at $8.97 on Amazon is a great price.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see.
And I see another question says, can I use my regular Amazon account to sell through Kindle? Yes, you can go and use the same email address and set up your Kindle account as well.
Okay. Let's see here if there's any, because I've been answering most of them. Here's some great topics. Ooh, these were some great topics. Back pain, green energy, golf swing. These were some pretty nice little topics.
Yeah, I see. Iris Bell has a question. Iris says she has 8 titles and she makes a couple of dollars every month. How does he make so much from just several titles? That's a good question, Iris. And the reason why is because, like I said, I've tested a lot of different things. I've tested dozens of different things. And the things I find that have the most effect on yourselves are the covers, the titles, your descriptions, your keywords, and then a few other things as well. So it's just a matter of testing, tweaking until you get it up there. Right? It's just like internet marketing. You put up a website and you might have certain variables on there that help you sell your product, but then you go in and you test other variables and you'll find that you start to convert higher. Amazon is no different, right? And there's just dozens of different things that I found that work very, very well.
Yep, and by the way, that's Iris Bell. Iris is all the way from Canada. Hey, Iris, how are you doing? And you know what? I want to let people know what my goals are here. And like I told you, there was the 2 things that I told you. And the second one was I'm going to get you a Rolex once I hit my target. And that's going to be my gift for you teaching me the system, and I'm going to do it. And so my target, I know you're crushing it, and do I have that in my mind to beat you? Yeah, I would love to come to your house and tell you I just kicked your butt all over town.
Good luck,
you
buddy.
might kick me out of the house, and so I may not tell you that until the day we're leaving your house. I don't know. But I will tell you, initially my goal is to get to about $10K a month. And once I do that, I'm going to give you my, what I promised you. But then from there, I'll expand and do some other things. So I'm not saying this is, hey, this is how you're going to make $1 billion. That's not realistic. I mean, some people can. Look at that girl. Heather was her name? I forget.
Amanda Hocking, yes.
Amanda Hocking, so selling millions of dollars selling, a product on a little tool.
She made over $2 million in less than 1 year. Over $2 million in less than 1 year. And my goal is to make $100,000 a month. So, which is one of the reasons why I won't be sharing this anymore, because I'm working on achieving my goal. $100,000 a month. $1.2 million in a year's time. Now, everyone may not have that goal. A couple $100 a month may work for you. $500, $600 a month can be a nice car payment. It could be a nice supplement to your mortgage payment or whatever else it is. A couple $1,000s a month could work. $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month. It all depends on your individual needs and your goals and how you want to challenge yourself.
And I will tell you, this is an example of not understanding something. You told me that back in November, and I'm going to tell you what went through my mind. Even though, we're more about uplifting each other.
Right.
And, here's an idea. Go ahead, execute it. This is what you need to do.
This is Ty is nuts.
Let me tell you, when you said I'm going to make $100,000 a month on Kindle, the first thing out of my mind was, okay, Ty must be smoking something. And because at that point, I think you had only done like $2,000. I'm like, what's he thinking about, going from $2,000 to $100K? But I will tell you that when I saw the 18K, I almost needed to apologize, because that's when I said, oh, this is doable.
I'm 1/5 of the way there. I'm 1/5 of the way there now, buddy.
And as soon as I saw that, that's when I said, okay, dude, you need to show this to me. Right. And that was in early January. And I was like, okay, I need to see how you're doing this. So sometimes you don't understand something. And I didn't understand it. And I wish I did, because I tell you what, I'm about 4 years behind on Amazon. I really am, and I'm kicking myself in the butt. And for folks, if you don't understand this, think about the authors who are making millions on Amazon. And we are starting out 5 years later. And you still was able to do a fantastic new business model. I mean, this is not, and by the way, folks, this is not another way to drive traffic. This is not another way to sell a ClickBank product. This is a whole new business model. It's a whole new business model, which I think is important. So let's see if we've got any other quick questions here. Stephanie said, don't do it. Don't start a brick and mortar business. It will own you. I am free finally after I sold mine. I actually still have a brick and mortar business. We do a lot of web design and hosting and consulting for people, so I totally understand your pain there, Stephanie. I'm still there. But I love it, though. I like talking with the people, so it's fine. Let's see if we see anything else good here.
So Stephen says, Stephen Noor says, do you use different pen names for different niches? I do. And again, Stephen, just to clarify to Stephen and some of the other people who may still have questions on in regards to pen names, I use pen names sometimes because I don't want people finding a title of mine that sells extremely well and then it's connected to all of my other titles or even 3 or 4 of my other titles. So do you get that? So what Amazon will do is, let's say if you use the same pen name, John Smith, and you have title 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, all published under the name John Smith. Well, if title 1 is selling well and someone finds out about it, then they will now be able to search Amazon to see title 2, 3, 4, and 5 as well. I just don't like people seeing everything that I do and being able to copy everything, all right, in that way, all right, doing it in a sneaky way like that. So that's it. And again, you can use your own name if you want. There's really no right or wrong. And it actually, on Amazon, it's pretty difficult for people to find out what is really selling unless they know how to go in and look at that information. So I really don't let that hold you back. Don't put too much thought into that. It's something that you can do or you don't have to do.
Now, there's been a ton, and I tell you, a ton of questions about linking out in your books. And I know there's something a strategy that you used, and I don't know, you don't have to reveal the strategy, but you did, but you can tell us how big is that opt-in list that you built in that niche market that you had the product in Kindle?
Right now, I probably have about 3,700 people on it, and that's just in one. That's just in one. Yeah, it's just in one niche, and that's something that I'm kicking myself for too, because I just started doing that. I always had the idea of using Amazon as a list building tool, but it was one of those things that was on the to-do list, and I actually just started doing it. I would say maybe in February, maybe. Actually, probably not even that. When was it that we got the landing page software? That was April or so. Oh, March? That WordPress one? Right. Yeah, that was in March, I think. March or beginning of April, somewhere around there. So that's when I first started doing it. Wow. And you're at 3,700? I'm at 3,700. Now, here's the cool thing. Now, that I don't check as often as I check my sales. But I have people that opt into my list all day long. I mean, I go into One Shopper Cart, which I'm using as my autoresponder service. And I'll check my stats, and I see people who they're joining, man. They're opting in 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's a cool way to build a list and, promote anything that you want to. I mean, you can go in and promote. Again, the key here is relevancy. Promote other relevant products and services to them. Products and services that are relevant to the first ebook that they purchase or that they join your list from. Now, let me ask you this. In that market, now everybody knows I love Google AdWords, even though they can be a pain in the butt sometime, right? But that particular market, and I know that market because you showed me the site. Right. What do you think you would have paid in AdWords per click in that market? You know what? That's something that I never thought about, but because there's so much competition in that market right there, I would say a couple bucks per click. And you probably know better because AdWords is your thing, but do you think that's realistic? A couple bucks probably? I'd say you'd be about $5 or $6 a click. Right. So assuming you had a 20% conversion rate for opt-ins, 3,700 opt-ins should have cost, well, 3,700 opt-ins times $6 is what? Whatever that math comes out to. But
assuming that you had a 20% opt-in rate, that would mean whatever that number is, you'd have to multiply by 5.
Right.
So let's do some math here. You know, math wasn't my strong suit, right? You know, I failed calculus in college. So, but hey, you don't have to be smart to make sales.
So math wasn't Greg's strong suit, and writing
English
wasn't mine.
And I'm dealing with numbers and math and PPC and cost per click all day. Go figure that one. So 3,700 times 5 equals $18,000 is what it would cost you for the opt-ins. Now, if you multiply that by 4 or 5, because you're at 20%, you're talking almost $74K. So here's the crazy thing: you actually got paid big money
to build
an opt-in list. That's what we call a self-liquidating advertising. Basically, self-liquidating advertising. You're actually getting paid to create something. And most people don't think about creating self-liquidating advertising, but it's the best advertising there is.
Right. And that's a good point to bring up there. Absolutely. And Gary
says ship his first.
Go ahead. Say that again.
Steve said to ship his first.
Steve ships his. You know what, Steve? We actually have. I'm looking at these things right now, so I can let you guys know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9. Yeah, so there's about 14 of them that are sitting there that are going to go out tomorrow morning. So there's about 14 of them. So in addition to you want to be one of the first 12 anyway, just to get these fast action bonuses that are up there. That's the audio that Greg and I have put together, as well as the mini course on how to publish content to Barnes & Noble's Nook. Once I finish that, which will be in about 6 to 8 weeks, there's a $200 value on that audio over here, just because the information in there is just killer stuff right there. It's no holds barred. It's just diehard stuff that we've used in our accounts. And then this mini course here is, I put a value of $500 on it, but to be honest with you, there's no way to put a value on something like that. It's just like with this Amazon Kindle cash flow course. There's no way to put a value on this, because even if I price this thing at $100,000, right? And let's say if I never made more than the $18,000 a month that I just showed you, in half a year's time, what did I say, $100,000? If I price this thing at $100,000, in a half year's time, I would have made that money back at $18,000 a month. So there's no way to put a value on something like this. Now, another question that we have is, Gary Brownlee says, can you include links to websites, etc.? Gary, you can on a basic level, which is what I recommend. So, and by basic level, I mean no subdomains and things like that. So you wouldn't put something like 30dayprofits.com/buy now. You could put something like www.30dayprofits.com, and I do that quite often. Yes, you can. So that's a great question. Good marketing skills there, Gary.
All right.
D Stone says, can you use resale rights products or just modified PLR? D Stone, you can use both. I use both. You can use your regular PLR rights product. And what he's asking there, D, I don't know if you're a man or a woman, so I'm going to just say he, just to be safe. But what he's asking is if you can just take the PLR rights, private label rights products, and use them as they are, or do you have to go in, or could you go in and modify them and add or subtract content from your PLR stuff? You can do both. I do both. There's no right or wrong with that.
Here is a great question, and a few people ask something similar, which I think is awesome. How do Kindle owners find ebooks, and is there any secrets to getting your ebooks more exposure by ranking higher, etc.? And I'll let you answer that, but I want to say one thing before you do, is just think about the Kindle. Like, I bought my wife a Kindle, and so what's the first thing she did when she got the Kindle? My wife had never had an Amazon account before. Okay, the only reason she has an Amazon account was because I got her the Kindle. And the first thing she did on the first day she got the Kindle, she went online and started buying books. I mean, she bought, Eat, Pray, Love. She bought, Dr. Oz's book about you on a diet. She bought all kinds of stuff. Okay, so you go ahead, Ty, and explain how people find you or find products on Kindle.
Well, actually, you have a Kindle, so that would be a great question for you to answer. But there's a search feature that's included in the Kindle there, so
Yes.
people can go and buy that way as well. And how is your wife purchasing, Greg?
And I've actually bought a couple products in there. I bought some Dan Kennedy books. I bought some other stuff. And here's what's amazing. Kindle, once you open up the Kindle, you open to like a screen, which is kind of, I don't want to say a home page, but like a menu page. One of the choices is either search or buy books. So you can search blogs, newspapers, books, magazines. You pick what you want. And then you put in your title. And once you put in the title, Amazon just lists all the titles right there for you. And you can actually get a sample. So they'll say, do you want a sample? And so you can get the first couple pages of the product. And so you can read it and say, oh, I like it. Then you go out and buy. Once you buy, here's the beauty about Amazon. Guys,
listen to this. Remember when I said Amazon wants to help you sell? Listen to this, because I already know where you're going with this.
You don't have to enter a credit card. Is that what you're going to say?
Well, no, that wasn't what I was going to say, but go ahead.
So what happens is you've got an account set up, and your username and password is tied to your Kindle. So everybody's Kindle has its own username and password. So then what happens is your account in Amazon is tied to your credit card.
Right.
Think, if you've ever been on a cruise, and I've been on a lot of cruises, what happens is they don't allow you to take out your credit card and buy anything. And what happens on the last day, they slip a little sheet of paper underneath your door that says, hey, you now owe us $5,000 on top of the cruise that you just went on because you had 53,000 drinks this weekend. But seriously, that's what happens is you're not allowed to pay with your credit card. You can't take out your credit card and buy. So you almost don't think of it as money. So what happens is you just say, I want this book. Once you click on it, I'm telling you within 3 seconds that book is downloaded to your Kindle. So you don't even take out your credit card and buy. So Amazon has made it very, very easy for people to buy the product. And that's why we buy so many of them.
Right, and what happens with that is it creates a impulsive buying action within people. So what happens is they don't have to go through the hassle of taking out their wallet or their pocketbook, looking for their credit card, entering credit card numbers, entering the billing information, because it's already saved in their Kindle account. All they have to do is browse to the books that they want to purchase and buy. It creates an impulsive buying sense, which is why things like the Apple iPod sell so well, why iTunes does so well. If you guys own any of these devices, you'll agree with me that they make it really easy to go in and buy. They're conditioning you to go in and look for things and then just to hit that buy button. You might have to enter your password, and that's it. So it makes it really easy for people to buy, makes it really easy for you to make money. And just really quick, if you are interested in getting the 2 fast action bonuses that are mentioned here, we do have about 1 or 2 more that are available. Looking at the sales that came in, so you want to go in and grab that right away. Put your order in right now before you lose those spots. There's about 1 or 2 more available.
And
James, go ahead.
I'll tell you, somebody brought up a good point, which both Kindle and the Nook have apps and things like that, software, so that, for example, you can't download, at least I don't think you can download the book and print it, but you can have the iPhone app, you can have the iPad app for the Nook and for the Kindle. So what that does is now it expands your base in terms of people who have the ability to view your product.
Right.
There was another good one that just came in here.
And you know what's cool about that? Go ahead. Go ahead. No, I was going to say that what's cool about that is that people can read their Kindle books right from their PC. right from their, my wife has the iPad, right from their iPad, right from their cell phone, right? Most of the Android phones and things like that now have the Kindle readers on them, so they can go in and download and read books right from their phone, right from their iPods. So, I mean, almost any mobile device, there's now a Kindle reader. So we're just totally opening up the platform for people who want to consume this material and buy, and as well as for us publishers to make it easier for us. That's why my sales increase every month, even without me having to add anything else to my account. Because Amazon is constantly working and looking for ways to make more sales, to get more people to buy. Doesn't get any easier than this.
And,
go ahead,
you know,
James.
I think there's another piece to that as well, is that traditionally I am not a reader. I didn't like to read in college. I didn't like to read in high school. Even in the internet marketing space, I tend to buy, or used to buy, more products that were more video-based and more audio-based, because reading just wasn't my thing. You know, I'm dyslexic, I've got ADD, so I can't sit and focus and read. But since my wife getting the Nook, and since me getting an iPad, do you know what my favorite form of consuming content now is? I'd rather get the downloadable PDF. I put it on my iPad, or by the way, I add PDFs to my Kindle as well, or my wife's Kindle, I should say. And when I'm out and about and I'm traveling, I go somewhere, I bring my iPad or the Kindle, and I'm reading my stuff. And I can highlight on there. It saves the highlights. So someone like me who absolutely hated reading, I mean, it just was not my thing, it put me into the market. So I was not a consumer of reading products before. But now it brought me into the market. For folks who understand marketing, you know what that means is you didn't cannibalize the market. You added more people into the market. So you expanded the market. And so that's another important thing to realize what this tool does. It's taking people who typically weren't readers and making them readers. That's why Wall Street Journal, New York Times has said the Kindle and the iPad has revolutionized their industry. They're starting to make money again because people are reading content again. You know, all of them have said that.
Absolutely.
So
there was actually an interesting article that I read a couple months ago that said more people are reading now because it's easier. It's easier for them to read now. They can read on their commute to and from work. They can read while they're in the lunchroom at work. They can read while they're at the doctor's office. They can read while they're at the park, because digital media makes it so much more easier. So yeah, that's a very good point that you brought up there. I'm always on the different Kindle blogs, and I've got Google alerts set to send me an email anytime anything Kindle mentioned is published in the news. So I'm always researching this stuff. And another cool thing about this course is all of the new information, like Greg will tell you, I'm always sending him emails. So at least a couple of times a week, I'm sending him emails about new ideas that I come up with in regards to how to make more money publishing content to Kindle. Or I'll send him links to new news articles as they relate to Kindle and things like that. So you guys, being part of my inner circle, you'll get those emails as well. You'll get the updates. All right, so anything new that I'm doing, anything new that I'm testing, anything new that I find that increases sales, that makes more money, you get access to all of that stuff. All right, so just keep that in mind as well.
Now, someone asked, is it possible to create a title with someone and then share the revenue? I'm thinking the answer's got to be no to that, because you can't split that. Can two authors share revenue in different accounts?
No, they can't. So here's the thing. Only one person can sign up for an account. So that one individual who receives the royalty would then be responsible for dispersing that royalty to the co-author. Now, both of you guys can have your name on the within the author section, all right, as writers. Yes, but as far as royalties, you would have to receive the royalties, or have that person receive them, and then disperse them to the other author. James has a good question. James Hubbard says, where do the books you're selling come from? Are you making them yourself? Are you writing them yourself? Great question, James. Well, there's 3 different ways that you can get content. Number 1, you can write it yourself, if you prefer that route. Those of you who are listening to this webinar, who are watching this webinar, and if you're good at writing, if you can write 20 pages, you can create your own content. That's number 1. Second way is, and number 1, it's free, obviously, right? If you write it yourself, it's free. So number 2, which is one of the least expensive ways of generating content or coming up with content, is buying private label rights. As you saw when we visited the plrstore.com, you can buy private label rights to dozens of different ebooks under dozens of different topics for just like $2.99 each, right? Some of them are as low as $1.99, and I share some other sites with you guys where I like to get PLR stuff from as well, where you can get private label rights content for as low as $1.99. So that's another way we can get stuff that you will publish to Amazon. The third way is hiring ghostwriters, all right? You can hire people. Let's say if you come up with a topic that you want someone to write content around, you can say, hey, listen, I need you to go in and write a report. And that's the way I position it. Whenever I hire someone, I don't say I want you to write a book. I don't say I want you to write an ebook, because that gives off a higher perceived value. So if someone says, I want you to write a book, I want you to write an ebook, for ghostwriter, automatically they're going to be thinking, I can charge a lot to write this. But if you say, I want you to write a report, then there's not that much that can be charged for that. Same difference, right? Same quantity of pages. So those are the 3 ways. Write it yourself, use PLR material, or hire a ghostwriter. And I use all 3. And there's 3 different videos that you'll get that cover each of those different methods of getting content created. You'll get a video that entirely covers the process of creating your own material, writing it yourself. I even give you a template that you can use to make the formatting process so easy, drop dead easy. There's a separate video that goes over using private label rights material and how to make it the best and how to make it stand out. And then there's another video that goes over how to hire a ghostwriter. And in that video, I give you the templates that I use when I hire someone. I give you the contracts that I use when I hire someone, right? So you get everything. This is an entire system, guys. There's nothing that's been left out. It's an entire system. Everything that I use to make money with my account.
Yeah, and I'll say this in terms of, because there's a couple questions about do you need to spin the content or stuff like that. I want you guys to think about it like this. And again, you could do it either way you want. It could be, hey, this is all about the sales for me, and who cares as long as I make the sale. My personality and my style is about the quality, and so when I put out content, I'm looking at, is the content good? Because I don't take it lightly. Someone's going to be buying this product from you, even if they're only paying you $9. That's someone's hard-earned money.
Right.
So don't put out junk. There's been a lot of people saying, well, how long does it need to be? And I think the reason people are thinking that is they're thinking more on the quantity, not just quality. Because I think being long-term in this business where it's 10, 15 years from now you're still making money, get yourself a reputation for putting out good quality products so that, someone who, because here's the other reason you want to have quality, because you may be taking them out of your book to some other secondary step. If your product sucks, they're not going to want to do that secondary step, whatever it is. So when Ty shows you how to get them to an opt-in list, you think they're going to want to do that if you're giving them some crap?
Right.
So don't just think junk. I mean, yes, you can do that and make a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. But I think the way to have longevity and having a customer who will buy anything from you from now until infinity is by giving them something good. So yes, you can take the shortcuts, but don't think just shortcut. I want you to think more quality. Because I tell you what, if I find one of your books on Amazon and you're one of my students and I think it's crap, I'll call you on it. I'll send you an email or I'll call you. My guys know I'm good for calling people. So don't think that I won't do that. I'll do that in a heartbeat. So know that I'm looking for you. So, but yeah, quality I think is important.
Good answer, Dave. And that McDavid has a good question, and she says, how would I create covers? I talked about how important having right covers are, and then that's actually very simple. And then of course I actually have an entire DVD video that goes over the cover creation process, and I talk about there's two ways that you can have your covers created. You can do it yourself, but if you're not someone who's good with creating graphics like me, I'm not good at that stuff. You can outsource it. And during this webinar, I told you that you can actually outsource your covers for about $3 each. But to be honest with you, that's a lot more than I actually pay. I just say $3 just to, to make it really realistic. But Greg, let them know. I mean, how much do I pay to have my covers created, and what have I shown you? As what are some of the amounts that you've paid to have covers created?
Okay, first of all, I will tell you, some of the prices that you're getting, I've always asked you, I mean, are you like holding people ransom or putting guns to their head? I know at one point you were paying about $1 a cover,
right.
Which, no, you were paying less than that, weren't you?
Now I'm paying 50 cents a cover. But
50, I thought it was less than $1.
Yeah.
Which, folks, it's 50 cents. I mean, a cup of coffee at Starbucks is $4 and some change. So you can have 5 covers done for the same price that you went out and bought coffee at Starbucks for. I'm paying. I will tell you, I would have never in a million years have told someone I'm going to pay you 50 cents a cover. But Ty told me that's what I need to offer. So
right.
Guess what I'm paying for the covers? 45 cents. I've got one guy doing 45 cents. I've got another person doing 50 cents. But even for how you hire people, the things that now I know how to outsource, but some of the things that you showed me in the outsource piece, I thought were diabolical. It was absolute genius what you did, the questions that you asked, and, the templates that you used. I thought it was pretty good. And I've got a course on outsourcing. I thought what you did was good.
Yeah, and that's one of the things there. And the thing is, when I show you how to go in and post projects on some of the outsourcing sites that I use, you'll see where you put up a project and you may say, I need covers created. And yes, you'll put up the price, 50 cents, 75 cents, or $1. You'll have dozens of people that will actually bid and go out of their way to lower their prices to create these covers for you at 75 cents or $1 or 50 cents or even 45 cents in Greg's case. That's an example of a student outshining the master here. He's, paying 45 cents for a cover, and I'm still paying 50 cents. But, I mean, when you think about it on the surface level, it sounds a little bit unbelievable. But, yes, I've had, other students of mine that have taken the same formula that I give them for hiring outsourcers and cover creators. And at 50 cents a cover, think about it. 50 cents for a revenue stream here, for something that can make you a lot of money continuously, not just one time, but continuously, that's ridiculous. So, yes.
Now, somebody said, Ty, as a student of Greg, and obviously I've got a lot of my students on the call, am I able to discuss my progress/ideas with the Kindle course, i.e., would this contravene the agreement I have with you? Now, I'm assuming they're saying, can they discuss this or the content of the course with me? And I would say,
no.
Number one, I
don't want you sharing anything with Greg because that guy will take it and you. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Greg, listen. When I pulled up the agreement earlier and I said I don't want anyone sharing this, I really meant that because I put in a lot of long hours perfecting this system. One of the things that I'm really passionate about is marketing. I'm really passionate about testing. So I've put together a ton of tests that I've, used to test different elements, prices, titles, descriptions, colors, and things like that. So when I talk about not sharing this content, I'm really serious about it. But of course, you're going to want to share your results and ask me questions. You want to share your results with Greg. You guys have a rapport with him and ask him questions. That's totally okay. My thing is, I do not want anyone that's on this webinar to invest their time, to invest their money in the system, and then to have someone else go in and share the system with someone who hasn't invested the time and money. It's just not fair to you guys, right?
Now, I'm going to tell you what my answer was going to be before you gave your answer. My answer was going to be, I don't want to step on anyone's toes, so you probably should go to Ty. But since Ty just hung me out to dry and said, yes, absolutely call Greg, my students, listen, seriously, you guys know I don't mind sharing. I don't mind talking with you guys. I mean, that's just who I am. So absolutely, this is not someone I'm introducing you to, and I'm not using the system. I'm using the identical system you are. So I know it inside and out. I've probably got more intimate knowledge of it because I've got, personal one-on-one time with the man who created it. Not only that, you probably hated me for a while because I was calling you every other day with questions. Dude, what about this? What about that? So I know I was a pain in the butt. Please forgive me, but, I wanted to make sure that the system works. So please, you got a question, I have no problems talking to you about it. I have no problems at all. My students know that that's how I am. So I have no problems. Now, obviously, Ty is, the first person to ask, but, if he's on another one of his darn trips to Myrtle Beach, then absolutely call me up.
Absolutely, great. Yeah, and like I said, you guys have my contact information, and, questions actually work. I'm one of the individuals that believe in the teacher learning from the student, right, as well as the student learning from the teacher, because the more questions you ask, the sharper it makes me, the better it makes me, because now it gives me a chance to say, that's something that I didn't think of. Let's go in and let's do some tests, and let's see how we can capitalize off of that, or let's see how we can improve on that. Or let's see, what type of results we can get from it. So yeah, I totally encourage you to ask the questions, and when you get your course, you'll see that you have my contact information as well. And ask away, ask away.
And the other thing I'll tell you, there was an answer I had sent an answer to someone that was in the chat box, and I said, they said, well, how does this compare with some of the other courses that's out there that people are selling? And I said, what they are selling, Ty just gave you for free. And I'm telling you, I've been through, now you don't think I'm going to, all right, Ty, you probably don't know this, but I did go through about 4 other courses that had to do with Kindle. And so I will tell you what you gave away today for free, which I had not seen this presentation before, but what you gave away for free today is what these guys were selling. Right. So for folks, if you've ever been on another course that had to do with Kindle that you purchased, you got the same information, but except you got it for free today. So what you get in the course is about scaling. It's about taking it to the next level. And so, but what you got today was free. Hey, you can go out and use it. There's nothing stopping you from matter of fact, if each and every one of you don't have a product on Kindle and have your first sale by next Tuesday or Wednesday, you did something wrong. Just on what you got today, you did something absolutely wrong. There's no reason you don't have your first sale by next week. None. It's only lack of action. That would be the only reason.
That's the only thing, action and desire. Once you have the desire and then you mix action with that, nothing is impossible. Once you have a desire and then you add action to that, nothing is impossible. That's all you need. You don't need, a huge office. You don't need a huge desk. You don't need the best computer. You don't need the most money. All you need is desire and then the willingness to take action. Once you have just those 2 elements, everything else will come into play. Right? Trust me. I've seen it happen multiple times in my own life. I've seen it happen multiple times in the lives of other people that I'm around. That's all you need. So Patrick says, Patrick, how do you choose the best book subject to write about? Good question, Patrick. I actually covered some of that and during this webinar. And Greg was talking about, he mentioned that he purchased other products that dealt with publishing content to Amazon's Kindle, and so did I. I literally purchased everything that was out there, including physical books and digital books, as well as internet marketing courses and programs. Most of the stuff that's out there, 99.9% of it is very basic. And when I read it and went through a lot of that stuff, I always got the feeling that the person who put it together had no clue as to what he was really talking about. In fact, this guy was making no money at all on Amazon, right? Just by the way that was put together, just by the information or lack of information, I should say that was provided. I could tell that there's a lot of these guys that was not making money. The other thing is, I'm a big believer in showing people your results. So if someone's saying, that's why I think me and Greg hit it off so well many years ago when we first got together, was because he's someone that will actually show you his results. He doesn't just say, well, this is what I'm doing in Google AdWords. This is what I think you could do. He says, this is what I'm doing, and let's look at some of the things I'm doing. So if you look and you go back and you remember doing this webinar, you'll see I went in my account and I showed you some of the things I was doing. I showed you the numbers and things like that. I'm really big on that. So I put this webinar together with the intention of being able to give you the basics of that. Immediately after the webinar, you can take action, go ahead, you can get your account started. You could even go to the plrstore.com, purchase a couple of private label rights, ebooks. You can go in and upload them. I showed you how to do all of that. I showed you how to create the content. I showed you how to create the account. I showed you how to upload your content. So you have the basics there. Now, of course, with the course, you get everything else. Like I just gave you the salt and pepper during the webinar, but with the course, you get all of the other main ingredients. You get the meat, you get the potatoes, you get the carrots, you get everything else that's needed to make the stew. All right? So that was that. Now, let's see. Do you have any other questions here, Greg?
No, I think we've answered most of them here. There's so many.
OpenOffice does work. Michael was asking, does OpenOffice work? Yes, that does, Mike.
Okay, cool. Will the recording include the complete Q&A? I think it should. I think I'll have that also in there. So, yeah. It's tough for me to read all the questions. There's so many still that we didn't get through, but I think we've got most of what people have asked.
Yeah, you guys are really, really, you know, I love this crowd here because these are really some go-getters here. You guys are asking a lot of questions, good questions. I like that. You know, I'm a firm believer in no such thing as a dumb question.
And someone says, thank you very much for sharing with us. Very informative, and I can tell you know what you're talking about, different than a lot of webinars out there. Hey, my guys know, you know, my style, listen, whatever everybody else is doing, you do the opposite. Just today alone, one of my students from the UK, I don't know if he's on tonight. Let's see if he's on. Hold on. And just so you guys can understand how I do business differently, let's take a look here. Okay, sure he is. Hold on one second. Olu? Can you hear me? Nope, he didn't hear me there. But what I wanted you guys to hear was Olu is from the UK, called me with a question or sent an email, wasn't able to log in. You know what I did? I didn't send him an email. I picked up the phone and called him. And he was like, man, I just can't believe you actually called me. And so that's the way that I do business. And, you know, Ty is a good friend, and the reason why we've hit it off is because we've got the same ethics and we treat our customers the same way. And so in terms of content, again, I've been through the content and I'm using it. This is different. This is not like what you've seen out there. You know, I'm about being creative and doing things differently, and this is something new. So unfortunately, I didn't get Olu there. But many of our students, I've got Greg here. Greg's from Florida. You know, 2 years ago, we got together and had lunch at Cracker Barrel. I mean, that's the kind of things that I do with my students. We've got Graham. Graham is from the UK. Hey, Graham, how are you? We had drinks over at the Novotel Hammersmith, that was in London, you know. Let's see if Graham is there. Let's see who else we see. So a lot of these guys, folks, I mean, that's how I do business, and so I'm putting you in the hands of someone that I trust and absolutely give 100% faith in. So let's see if we have one last question or two, and I know it's been long, but, you know, my thing is if they have questions, we answer. Let's take a quick
Absolutely. Yeah, I want everyone to be totally I don't want to leave any questions unanswered, so I agree.
Okay, Palmer said, I'm so happy I made this webinar. Greg, thank you. And Ty, you're awesome. Can't wait. He said, I can't wait till you stop talking so I can get started.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
in that case, let's go for a 24-hour marathon. How about that? We go for a 24-hour marathon webinar session.
Who's this? Charles said, and still waiting for your call. You've been calling everybody. I'm jealous. All right, Charles. Okay, I'm going to have to give you a call tomorrow. So don't be surprised if I do. You think I'm kidding either. So I just may do that tomorrow. Let's see who else we have here.
Hey, Greg, you know what I want to do? Since this is, I'm listening here, and you've got a great rapport with you guys right here. So what I want to do is here's what I want to do. I want to give away 5 more sets of these fast action bonuses. We already sold out of the first 12, but I want to give away 5 more sets. So for the next 5 people that order within the next 5 minutes. So how about that? The next 5 people to order within the next 5 minutes will get these fast action bonuses. We already sold out of the first 12. Those are gone, but the next 5 people, if you wanted these 2 fast action bonuses, the Barnes & Nobles, Publishing to Nook mini course that I'll be putting together within the next 6 to 8 weeks, as well as the Kindle Cash Flow bonus video, audio I should say, that Greg and I put together, you'll get that as well. So for the next 5 people to order within the next 5 minutes, so it's 10:09 right now. So if you get your order in by 10:14 p.m. Eastern Time, you'll get those as well. All right?
That's awesome. We've got Lynn and Michelle on. Listen, I met Lynn and Michelle in California. They're some awesome people. Hey, Lynn, hope you are feeling better. I know you had a little thing there last month, so hopefully you are feeling better and things are going good. So I wanted to give you my well wishes there. Michelle, you know you're awesome, so I don't even have to say anything. So you already know that. Oh, you're feeling much better. That's awesome. I am glad to hear that. Yes, we'll have a replay of the webinar, and that will be there.
Awesome.
Okay.
So it's 10:10. You guys have 4 minutes if you want to go in. We still have about, wow, these guys don't play. We have 2 more fast action bonuses left. 3 out of 5 were already taken in less than 2 minutes. That's incredible. So we have 2 more left, and you have less than 4 minutes. So you have up to 10:14 p.m. if you want these 2 fast action bonuses.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thank you, Greg, for having me.
Yes, my pleasure. Thank you for being on. It's been a couple months in the making, but I appreciate you doing this today. And guys, look forward to seeing you guys on the other side. As always, having you guys and interacting with you guys is always an absolute pleasure for me. I enjoy it. I don't think you guys realize how much fun I actually have on this side of the phone and being able to look at the questions and answering back and saying hi to people who I haven't talked to in a minute. So for me, this is fun. Get started, and I look forward to seeing you guys being on the top of the Amazon bestsellers with all your products. So guys, get started. That website address again was 30dayprofits.com, right?
Absolutely. www.
So
can you see it on my screen there?
30-day. Yep, I see it there. 30dayprofits.com. I know there's some people we didn't get to all the questions. Unfortunately, there's probably 200 questions we didn't get to, but I probably answered about 150 myself. So if I missed your question,
Right.
I do apologize, but hopefully we tried to answer as many of the questions that came in that we can see really easily. So, all right, guys, thank you, and have a great night. We'll have a replay out to you guys tomorrow. Good night, guys.
Good night.